What's happening, everybody? It's Cool Greg from Kind of Funny, and I'm here with, well, where are you? Christmas in December or something?
Okay.
What's your tag name?
No, that's the thing about when you give everyone their tag names, as you say, no one gives you one, so I've never had one.
Oh.
No one's ever called. You call me Famous Greg, so that's fine.
Yeah, awesome. We had yesterday a friend called Trending Greg. I like that one a lot.
Oh, Trending Greg?
Yeah, it's
okay.
better than Famous in my opinion.
All right.
But as I said, this is Greg Miller right here, and we are doing the December Kind of Funny AMAs. A couple weeks ago, I thought it was a good idea to tell Greg, I really appreciate everything he's done for me over the last year. And I think it was November 21st of last year, I was on camera for the first time, and he interviewed me basically just about being Tim's little brother, because that's all I really had going for me. But since then, a whole lot has changed. And I came up with ideas like, hey, I think it'd be cool if I interviewed you back. Let's see what everything that has changed. Let's actually put it out there on the record so people know how much you guys have changed my life. Each one of the best friends, the guy, the founders, Kevin, everybody, and the additions since then. So I'm not fully prepared, but I do want to jump in. I want to cover a couple things, So obviously you guys already hear enough about video games. So I want to say a little maybe about music.
Oh, okay.
Talk about some wrestling.
Sure.
Talk about just some of the entertainment things.
Hell
you know
yeah,
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then we're going to go more into how Kind of Funny has really affected me and how basically I want to know what that means to you because it's your child, right?
Of course. Well, first off, cheers, Cool Greg, on a year of being on camera with us. Thank you for everything you've done for us in 2017.
Appreciate that, my man. I was having a fun conversation with Kevin off camera.
Yeah.
I've been looking for my first beer. This is my second one. I've been looking for my first beer all morning.
Oh.
Sasha Banks' cup is missing. I've looked everywhere. I'm pretty worried. I'm going to be honest. But we'll talk about that later.
Well, we got the kegerator today.
Yeah.
This is a time warp, of course. AMAs, we post them over on patreon.com/kindoffunny. You put your questions up. Then we do want to we publish all the questions later on YouTube. So this is going to be a little bit after the fact. But yeah, okay. Kegerator's here. We're all a little bit hammered. Kevin's just over there. Kevin is drunk.
Yeah. I'm still fighting for the keg full of Henny and the keg full of apple juice.
Yeah.
Once we get those.
Flip the tops at the same time. Put
that's
it in
when you
there.
guys really have me locked in. This last year, I don't know. I was feeling it out. But once you guys get the Henny and the apple juice kegs, I ain't going nowhere. But just for, fun conversations, I want to talk like music real quick.
Right.
Like, who are your favorite musicians of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Weezer.
I knew that one.
Yeah. In 1994, of course, I saw the Buddy Holly music video, and I was like, boom, these guys get it. Like, that's the kind of music I like. And to this day, I'm not sure if it was just the video or if because at that time, you're discovering what music you like. And growing up at that point, born in 83, so I'm 11 when Weezer drops the Blue Album. I remember my friends were we're coming out of the 80s into the 90s. Friends were pushing Guns N' Roses, which I would listen to, and Def Leppard and all this stuff. But it was that thing where we were chasing what their older brothers liked. Like, I didn't have siblings. So I remember listening to that music and not being into Bon Jovi and not really feeling it, but buying those albums and consuming that content. But it wasn't until really where that early 90s grunge, rock and roll, whatever you want to call it, comes together, where I found bands that I felt I connected with. And so Weezer's definitely on there. I always throw out, Taylor Swift, of course.
Yeah.
Duh. Who we kidding around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there was also Dynamite Hack. They put out...
familiar.
It's because nobody fucking knows Dynamite Hack. There was a show, I want to say it's Farmville, but that's not it. It was Farm something on USA. Matt Pinfield hosted it. And they had a whole bunch of bands that did all this shit, blah, blah, blah. Dynamite Hack won that. They were a band from Texas. And they put out an album, like the album based off of that I want to say Fastball, but that's not what it was called at all. It had a girl looking really devious on the cover, like a little girl. And it was just an album that, I forget how I ran into them because I didn't watch the show, but I know that album cover to cover. Like, I would just put it on and play it nonstop and listen. Like when you say what's my favorite song of all time, it's Anyway by Dynamite Hack. But really, it's this is back in the day of secret tracks. So it's really like,
love it.
At like 22 of the track count, there was a piano version sung by the lead singer's sister. Like, that I think is so perfect. Like, that's my favorite song of all time, which is a weird thing to say. But that album I'll still just pop on and listen to just nonstop.
You think them being a little less known added to how much you appreciate it? Because I like that with a lot of artists.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that in terms of like ownership, because the next band I'm going to bring up is Lucky Boys Confusion.
Okay.
Like, Lucky Boys Confusion is a pop punk, but not really punk, but like, some ska influences band that made it big in quotes, when I was getting ready to graduate and go to college.
Okay.
And I remember they did a song called Fred Astaire, and they did all sorts of different stuff. And the thing about them that stood out to us and probably made them a bigger deal was the fact that I was growing up in the burbs of Chicago, and they were from the burbs of Chicago and lived in the burbs of Chicago. And so, like, we had a local radio station called Q101, and they played Fred Astaire all the time. So it was like a big thing between me and my friends. And I have this memory of, I'm pretty sure it's prom, but it might have been homecoming of senior year, of me and my friend Noonan, like when they played that song and us like jamming out and screaming it at each other. And I took that, you know, as you go to, or for me at least, when I graduate high school and go to college and really start to be an adult and be independent and do all this different stuff, you bring the things you love and champion. For me, coming to a new school where I knew nobody, bring the things I love and champion them to a new group of people.
Yeah.
And so like Lucky Boys Confusion like rolled through like freshman year to do a concert with 1 million other people. And I remember going to it, and for a long time it was the greatest live event I'd been to, or the greatest show I'd ever been to. August 9th, 1999.
Awesome.
WWF Raw at the time, Chris Jericho's debut, best live event I've ever been to. But like in terms of a concert, it was the best concert I've ever been to because I got pushed to the front row. I got to see Lucky Boys like this close. Like it was amazing to have this band that had been so much of a piece of home come visit for the first time. And it's weird in the same way of the first time I ever went to VidCon, and I brought a bunch of IGN people. And I was like, hey guys, there's a Portillo's close to here. Let's all go there. Walking into that Portillo's with your brother and Eric Hart and Nick Scarpino, it was so weird of like, wow, like I'd never been before. And I was like, well, this is really Portillo's. And like in my wildest dreams, I never imagined bringing random IGN friends to Portillo's in Chicago. But here I was like, you have to understand this is home. It's like to go to Mizzou and feel not as an outcast, but feel alone for sure. I have to rebuild every connection and make new friends and do all these different things. To go there and be like, hey, this is my music, and like these guys came from the city I came from. Like that was a big deal to me. And so to this day, like I still support Lucky Boys to the end. Like they just did this like 20th anniversary reunion show at the House of Blues, and I would have fucking totally gone, cool, Greg, but it was like, I think we were doing Extra Life in Maryland that weekend. It was like something like that where I couldn't get out of it to go back and do it. Cause like, it's not that they've broken up, but they did for a while, but they've kept making music, and now they got a new album. And it's like those, you know, ebbs and flows of bands that have been around forever. Okay. And like, I've never even told you the story, because when would we ever talk about Lucky Boys Confusion? The craziest thing is that there was some GameOverGreggy show for fucking ever ago, where we were talking about something similar, like music you like that nobody else likes. And I was like, oh, well, I love Lucky Boys Confusion, blah, blah, blah. Said it in the moment, talked about the song, forgot all about it. And I was walking Portillo. This is when we were at the spare bedroom. Walking Portillo probably a week and a half later as our content rolls out. And it's like, I'm blurry out. I'm walking Porty up the street, and I got to the Goodwill in the corner. And I looked at the phone, and it was one of the members of the band tweeting me, freaking the fuck out that I mentioned them. Because it turns out he is a huge Kind of Funny Greg Miller fan. So and I was crazy. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wait, no. And I was like, we got into DMs about it, and I'm just like, you're a rock star. You shouldn't be impressed. He's like, dude, like, we're not. You know what I mean? And like, they put out, with this 20th anniversary show, it was like, there was this great article in one of the local Chicago papers that artist put out, and I read again. And it was very much detailing, like, they described themselves as like, the next big thing that never was. Like it was something I'm paraphrasing now, but like they signed their deal with Sony, and then like the next day Sony was like, oh, we're done with that label. And so that label closed down, and they never got the shot they deserved, kind of thing. Okay. And so I was like, oh fuck, I never think of you that way. Yeah. I think of you guys having amazing, you know what I mean? I remember in Missouri, a year after that first show where I went and saw him, I went to go to another one, and I was walking around the corner to get dinner, and I ran into the lead singer on the street. And it was totally one of those things of like, nobody knew who the fuck this guy was. But you did. And I called him, I was like, hey, Stubby, so like, when are you guys going on? And he's like, oh, you know, no. I'm like, all right, cool. And like, just walked away, and I was like shaking. I couldn't believe that I just talked to this guy that I've listened to so many times.
That's awesome. To go off of that, so you mentioned 3 bands and Taylor Swift. So to take Taylor Swift out of that, real quick. So those bands, you basically found your connection with them between like 10 and like 15?
Yeah, that's pretty fair to say. That's probably pretty fair to say.
So you think back then, because you were talking about, you're still in Chicago at these years, right?
Of course, yeah.
So were they one of them you said was all over the radio. It was Weezer and the first band. I forgot what it was called. Not the kid one. Sorry.
I said what? I said Dynamite Hack.
Dynamite
Weezer,
Hack.
Dynamite Hack, and Lucky Listen Fusion.
Was Weezer and Dynamite Hack? Were they all over like the radio?
Weezer
like,
was
being pushed down your
Weezer
throat?
was like, oh yeah, like Weezer with the Blue album was everywhere, and you couldn't get away from it. But the thing about the Blue album was, my friends are all listening to Green Day and The Offspring, and I am too. Great album. I mean, Dookie, fucking smash. These are great albums. I commit to Weezer as my favorite band, right? And then their follow-up is Pinkerton, which is my favorite album from Weezer of all time, and I listened to it at the time and love it, but it was one of those super polarizing thing where like a lot of people hated it, and like then Weezer stops making music for forever.
Yeah.
For like it was they released their next album my senior year of high school, and I graduated in 01, right? Yeah, so I graduated in 01. 94 is Blue, so 96 is probably Pinkerton, and they don't make any fucking music for 5 years. Like that was rough, and I weathered that storm. Dynamite Hack, I wish I had a story for how I ran into them and what it was, but I must have just heard anyway at some point. Yeah, I want to say, oh, you know what? No, I remember a girl named Amy, a friend of mine in high school, giving me a Burn CD that I listened to and it was Burn Dynamite Hack, and that must have been the first time I heard them. Maybe, I don't know why that would have happened though. Like if she would have just been like, you would like these guys or whatever, because they're alternative, they're rock or whatever. And then Lucky Boys was all over Q101, which is enough to get you in the door. But then it was that Hometown Story, right?
But they're not. So they're from Chicago.
Yeah, the Burbs.
Okay, got it.
Downers Grove, I believe. Yeah,
got it. That's cool. So in 2000 and I want to say 12, 2000 and maybe a little later after that, 2013, 14, Chicago 100% came out of nowhere, and besides Kanye, and just took over the hip hop scene, the rap scene. Like everybody was for it. You guys call this the Spider-Man hands, but I started doing this with my friends because of Chief Keef, and they're from Chicago, and they throw it up. So we just we started going with it, and I've been inspired by so many people from Chicago. So I was happy that you brought up an actual local band from Chicago.
Oh yeah,
so that's great. But taking it back, because you said you met these people between the ages of 10 and 15. Like, who are new people? Because I listen to people, especially in these last couple of weeks since Kevin and Tim got me a fucking phone. Shout out. Fuck Metro. Not that, but no more Metro for me. Like, artists I would usually push to the side, I'm giving much more of a chance. Sure. Like, for example, like G-Eazy and people I would just didn't like off the jump. But now I'm listening to them, I'm like, oh shit, they have a lot of stuff I like. So I'm finding more music I like every single day. Like, are you in that too, or are you just sticking to what you've already known?
Damon Hatfield, who worked with us at IGN.
Okay.
I remember he's totally into music, right? He plays music, he makes music, he does live shows, he does that stuff. He DJ'd for a while. And I remember him telling me a story that I found super interesting, where we were out at a bar talking or whatever, and I'm not a music guy. Like, I like music, don't get me wrong, but for as much as like I feel like I'm the game guy, I know everything that's happening in games. Then
you're also a lyric guy, so that's kind of weird.
Well, sure. Well, yeah. A sidestep. Well, just listen to pop music all the time. Sidestep to that is I'm a DC Comics guy for sure. Image comic or DC Comics, where I know everything's happening in the DC universe. Most of Image stuff. Marvel, I admittedly don't know much, right? But then when you start getting out of that to like when people are like, what do you watch on TV? What do you watch on movies? And I'm like, oof, that's really not my scene. Music isn't, but it kind of it. So the Damon story was, we were sitting there talking one day, and I said something similar, and how I'm just not into music, and like I was like, you listen to so much different stuff, and you know what's happening. He was like, do you know who's the best taste in, do you know who I hear about most of my bands from? And I said, no. And he said, my dad. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, my dad loves music. So he is actively on the hunt every day to find new stuff. And Damon's like, I bet most of the stuff you listen to, or like when you think about music and what you want to listen to, and granted, this is before Spotify, right? Yeah. This is like, we have CDs, you have like your iPod shuffle or whatever. He's like, I bet most of the music you're listening to is something that connected with you when you were in high school or college. And I was like, yeah, it is. And he's like, yeah, that's how most people connect with music, where you're in this finding yourself period, and that's really important while you study or do whatever. And then when you leave that, you never really keep growing. And he's like, I try to be more like my dad every day. And I was like, that's fucking rad. Like, that's a crazy
perspective I've never thought of.
Right? And so today I listen to a lot of different music, but I feel the way we've consumed music has changed so much that for me, I listen to music when I cook. And so what I do is like, hey, Alexa, put on country. She's like, here's wild country, here's country hits, right? And if it's somebody that I know from college, of like a Trace Atkins, right? Or, and these are country music stars, Little Big Town. Like, I know their sound and I know who they are, but then new country acts that I think are great, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, I like your song and I could sing it word for word and I can do this stuff, but like, if it was like multiple choice of who sang that, I don't know. And I do the same thing with, Jen's big into jazz, so we'll put on jazz playlists, and she likes a bunch of obviously Montreal French stuff that we put on, and like I love that music, but I don't know that artist, and I feel like that's my big problem. Whereas like I have a nice reputation for knowing a lot of lyrics and stuff, and so it's people are always like, oh, you should go and like name that tune or some stupid shit like that. I'm like, well, no, I don't know that information. It's the same way where it's like I think Weezer's album came out in '94. Like I'm just not the date guy. In the same way with video games, where I'm like, when did Uncharted 1 came out? When did Uncharted 2 came out?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. With the Grammys come up, so you have no taste, like no care for that at all?
Not at all.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It's one of those that just comes and goes for me, and it's not a big deal. I wish Taylor Swift the best. That's about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right.
Even though I don't like her new album, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it. Huh?
I think it's Jen's fault.
No, she didn't win. It's not a great album.
Yeah, it's tough when artists you believe in put in albums that you don't, let's just say, not agree with, right?
Yeah.
You're saying it's not great. I don't really know. With art, for me, it's always, to the person listening or taking it in, but it's kind of easy to tell when someone dropped the ball when you've been watching them for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know if Taylor did that, but yeah.
Well, Taylor Swift's a fucking fascinating one, right? Because like I understand that like it's I think last album, right, like 89, it was more of a joke to like Taylor Swift in terms of like, oh, everybody likes Taylor Swift. But you have to understand that if you trace Taylor Swift's discography back, right, like literally I remember listening to her in 2005, 2006 in Columbia, Missouri in my ex-wife's SUV when we bought the Taylor Swift debut single and put it in. It started with Tim McGraw, and like I know that debut album front to back. And so every album that came was like, oh my God, it's so great. It's she's progressing, she's doing this. And not that I'm saying she's gone too far. I'm just saying not at all in the hipster way that I was into Taylor Swift before she was a phenomenon. Yeah. So by the time people are like, oh, you like Taylor Swift? That's so like cute. It's like, no, like for real, I'll tell you all about her albums. You want to put on any random thing, I can tell you about the song she changed the word gay from, because like when that went pop mainstream, you can't be saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I don't know what I'm saying about it, really. I just like Taylor Swift a lot.
Nah, it's cool. It's weird, especially even reading into Kind of Funny when I was. You guys are, I'm not gonna say obsessed, but you guys, everybody here likes her. I don't know Kevin's thoughts on her, but everybody else I know here for sure loves her.
Yeah.
My introduction to her is just like most people, I'd say, especially most hip hop fans, is like, man, I wanted JayZ's girl Beyonce to win. So when Kanye went up there, I kind of thought it was cool. Like I thought he was actually speaking out. I never really saw it as him taking her moment because I didn't know she was actually good.
And that's the funniest thing about it, is like that's when I was like, I don't know this Kanye West guy, but fuck this guy.
Yeah,
like
so
he's
totally
dead to me.
Perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Over the other side, you know what I mean? It's just like I can only imagine like being in that situation, especially being as young as she was. Nobody ever wants to give Taylor Swift enough credit, right? It's always that she hasn't done this, she hasn't done that, she said this, she dates too many guys. Yeah. But like, this is a girl who.
I've never heard the date too many guys thing.
Oh, I mean that's her biggest. That's her biggest knock. That's why I think this album honestly is a little bit. Like
obviously, I only hear from you guys, so you guys aren't saying that.
We're
shit
not saying the negative
shit.
Yeah. I mean, she's a girl who's grown up in front of everybody. Like, if you want to talk about being like weird about it, right? Where, and this is again not who I am, right? When I talk about this, it was what Red was right before '89. Kevin, you don't know.
No, I have no idea.
Pretty sure it was Red right before '89, and that was the first time I think. Because I think Red's the album that dropped when I was in New York seeing Rockstar Games. Like I'm like I remember when it dropped and downloading it and walking around New York listening to it. But it was the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I know there's no chat, but it was the first time where she started talking about like sex. Like she was, hooking, and it was this weird gut check moment for me of like, oh, like I never listened to Taylor Swift being like, oh, I love Taylor Swift, she's hot. It was always like, I like this girl's music. And watching her grow up was very much like, as stupid as it sounds, like she's kind of family. She's kind of a sister. It's never been an attractive thing to her.
Yeah.
And so like when she was talking about this, I'm like, I don't know if I should be listening to this. Mm-hmm. I remember you talking about your first loves and these boys, Steven and all these people really you saw. Funny, you know what I mean? Like this is a weird. I've gotten over it now. I'm like, all right, cool.
I've definitely had weird connections like that with too. Like recently, Eminem last night, 2 days ago, actually put out his or leaked his album.
Yeah.
And then I just listened to it. And it's almost like, I don't want to sound too weird. I know the internet's going to tear me up for this. It's almost like listening to my dad talk.
Right.
Like that's how much I'm like, I grew up like the way I think is based off of what you said in certain lines at certain times and stuff. And just like based off of the whole Kanye thing with Taylor, that whole situation, I can compare it to, it's weird that Kanye's in this too, but Eminem speaking out against Bush. And like, I remember thinking like, oh shit, I didn't know it needed to happen, but it's cool that he's doing this. So that's how I took the Taylor thing too. So it's cool once you see people where they grow, and even if they start to disappoint you or let you down or whatever, you know, you kind of see them. It's a whole story, even if you're not appreciating it. You know what I mean? You can take a step back and be like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool.
Right.
Like,
I feel like 89 for Taylor Swift was like the zenith for people who had been around forever, for new fans. Yeah, like the pinnacle. It was like, this is like the moment kind of thing. And now that we're on the other side of that, like it's the same thing where it's like before Reputation dropped, I was like, all right, cool, I'll sign up for whatever to get the tickets for the pre-sale to go fucking to the concert, yada, yada, yada. Then I got the album and I'd seen the videos coming up and I was like, I don't really like the videos that much. Got the album and I was like, And then I got my email of like, hey, tickets for Reputation are available. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be bothered to drive to fucking Santa Clara to come see this thing and blah, blah. But like 89, when I went and saw her for 1989, like that was fucking epic.
On the other side of the spectrum, like I'm a huge JayZ supporter, and you know, I obviously wasn't there when JayZ dropped his first shit. I was alive, but I was like years old, so I didn't take it in when it was first dropped. I think I started listening to him probably like right before the Black Album came out, so like we're talking about like early 2003 or something.
Yeah.
But just taking it from there, doing my research and my homework throughout the years, just growing up and hearing more songs, hearing Big Pimp and all these old gems that you knew were big. And seeing where he's taking it now, it's like there's very few musicians or even artists in general where I think like, damn, like every move you've made is like you were on it and you knew exactly what you were doing. Like your whole discography makes sense as a story altogether.
Oh,
and,
sure.
I feel like that's a very hard thing to do. And even he, like a big thing I think he did, like a way he twisted it, a lot of people couldn't do. And like I'd love to see Taylor have her own twist on this kind of thing. Is like you said, you didn't appreciate. You personally felt kind of weird about her talking about the sex and shit.
Yeah.
He got to a certain point where he was he retired even though he was putting out music, and he was the producer of movies, and I think it was called American Gangster.
Oh yeah.
So he produced that or social. What is it? When you make you choose the music.
He scored it.
It's like something associate producer or something producer. I forgot what it's called. So he did that for it. So he gets to put out this whole album, American Gangster.
Yeah.
And he's talking about being an American gangster, being JayZ, selling drugs on the street corner. But it's not like Snoop Dogg being 40 years old talking about getting high. He's an actor at this moment. But he's still
I
showing
believe
his
Snoop Dogg when he says he's 40 years old.
Yeah, I totally get that. But it's like you also like, you know, it's just certain things. No disrespect to Snoop Dogg, but when he throws up the gang signs, you're kind of like Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Like you got security everywhere. Like, what are you doing? It's kind of old in the game. But like with JayZ, like I feel like it's a lot realer, you know, and it'd be cool to see a lot of other artists do that where
I mean, to talk about artists, and especially in the rap world, right? In the careers and lineage and everything, man. I remember being a kid and when fucking Ice-T put out Cop Killer and it was on the news of like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? He's a degenerate. He's these horrible things. He's everything wrong. And now he's like the star of SVU. Yeah. And then he's playing video games and talking about them. And I remember when fucking Snoop Dogg was on trial for murder and like gets off, but does the VMA performance of like, you know, I'm innocent after murder was the case, right? And it was that thing of like my mom, you know, because she's just consuming the news and who the fuck knows. He's like, what a bad influence. And I was like, Snoop Dogg's hanging out with Martha Stewart, making video. You know what I mean?
Shit's crazy.
Ice Cube's in NWA, right? And now he's in all these family comedies.
Yeah.
And Barbershop is a good movie series.
Time definitely changes a lot. You know,
100%.
When you look back on it. Like I know, speaking of like my favorite artists from Chicago, like I'm saying that since like 2010 they've been blowing up. 2012. Chief Keef, like man, he was 16, already signed to I think it was Universal. He was already signed on his record at 16 years old. He was been to jail for shooting at a cop, and it's like now he's a millionaire, and he's like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's crazy that since he's moved on from that, like the whole world can accept him. Like it's just interesting to me to watch. You know, like what gets taken serious and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Especially in rap. Like a common one. I'm not trying to like throw a crazy debate out there, so we'll see. Write down the time real quick, just in case we have to edit this out. Like a crazy one, like Post Malone, who's a light skinned dude. He came out and he said, if you're looking for any in 2017, if you're looking for any thought provoking music, stay away from hip hop. Huh. The internet tore his ass up for that.
Sure,
talking about him disrespecting the culture and stuff like that. Migos, they're up for album of the year for Grammys. almost on every song they say something about like some like I got small eyes like a chink. It's like, what?
Jesus
what are you
Christ,
talking
really?
about? But it's just music and nobody's calling them out on it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's just that they're just doing that. And I think it's really crazy just how different perspectives can influence of how important things are. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
Because
No.
we're talking about opinions versus actually insulting a whole race of people.
Right.
And they just don't care. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing where music has always had that. Music is like stand-up comedy, is like a play, is like a movie where it's like, oh, well, they're meant to challenge me. It's art. I'm trying, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's the same thing of like, when I was coming up, and I know you've obviously listened to it, but like when Eminem started taking heat for like, oh, he's anti-gay because he says faggot and he does all these horrible things and da-da-da-da. And then it was when Elton John performed Stand with him Stand on whatever, the Grammys that year, right?
Yeah.
And like, hold up, and Elton John's like, he's not anti-gay, he's telling a story, but it's always that thing of, again, to what Damon's point was in a different light.
Yeah.
Music influences, it seems, the most when you are the most malleable to ideas. So there's, you can go back to 2 Live Crew, right? Which, is the birth of the parental advisory label,
Yeah.
where it's like, people are like, please think of the children. And it's like, well, don't let the children listen to this. But in the same breath, like, I remember when my mom didn't want to let me for Christmas, and she didn't get it, let me get the Spaghetti Incident by Guns N' Roses, which was a terrible fucking album. But Danny Bonaducci used to do fucking music reviews on the local NBC News. And he was like, hey, you know me, I'm Danny Bonaducci. And he's like, I've seen some stuff. This album is like beyond that. And my mom was like, oh no. And it's like, she's not wrong. You know what I mean? Because it is that thing. It's back to the same thing I always talk about of going to Mizzou and being like, dude, that watch is gay. And not meaning, hey, that watch is homosexual. Meaning, hey, that watch, I don't like it. Which I wouldn't ever yell at a random person. And I do like that watch. Movement watches. But it's just the point of like, until you're exposed to it, when you're in the echo chamber of how to talk or treat to people, you don't think, all right, cool, this is what that, me saying A actually affects B. And so like, I mean, Eminem, he has, verses about it, right? Of like, I didn't know what I would write would affect you that way. I didn't know I would incite you to do this. Like, that's not what I'm doing. And he still kept doing it for a long time. Probably still does. I haven't heard his most recent music. But like you're saying, he's grown up, right? And there's, as somebody who owned the first 3, main releases from Eminem at the time, was listening to in high school, college, and so on. Like, I remember watching.
You're good. Just stay there with those 3.
Okay, good. Thank you. Listening to that music and enjoying it, and like, I'm Ken Kniff from Connecticut.
Yeah.
No, suck your dick. And all. And like, you're laughing at it, and it's funny. But then there was like, okay, I'm going to watch this interview he's doing with Kurt Loder or whatever. And it was like, they were driving around Detroit where he was still living at the time. And like, somebody was listening to his music and he rolled down his window and he bought him Taco Bell. And it was like, he was a cool guy and he was answering the questions of like, well, no, don't actually be against gay people. Don't actually do this. I'm just if anything, satirizing everything that's happening. But that level of critique, that level of empathy is lost on somebody who's listening. It's back and forth. This is the whole thing, right? Of like, it's where we are in 2017 of what's okay to say and what's not okay to say. And like you're saying, where
I'm learning it's a lot about your demographic and your audience.
Sure.
And those change, and that changes the entertainer for in itself. And that's something I'm having a hard time grasping, but I'm getting it. Even just watching, not within us, I'm talking about even more just within music, seeing how they treat their fans.
Right.
And all the things. It's like, I just said a racist term that the Migos said. But in the same light, I think Eminem's disrespecting us more by putting out this. So it's like totally different levels and perspectives. But I think they're all interesting. I just want to bring them up.
Oh no, I mean that's the thing about it, and what I hope we can do on Kind of Funny is talk about those things and the fact that I don't, I don't think about like, oh, that this offends this group until somebody calls me out on it, right? Like it's recently, right? Well, it's just everything that's happened on Kind of Funny Games Daily, where we'll talk about where able gamers will write in, where Steven will write in, who's up for Trending Gamer of the Year, and be like, our audience is starting to ask those questions of like, wait, why is it okay to say this? Is it okay to do this? Like, why would people? Me and Tim were like, why would anyone want smaller controllers? And Steven writes in, he's like, well, for a lot of us who are handicapped, it's easier for us to hold and do this. I'm like, oh, I never fucking thought of that.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I think of my own experience where I remember going into a GameStop with my roommate in college, And they were trying to upsell me, like if you know you're trading in so much stuff, if you buy this game, which I was already buying, and you buy this controller, come over, look at these controllers, we'll give you 20% off. Look at these are smaller controllers, and this is like so sleazy, of course, because again, different time period. But the guy was like, he turns to me, he's like, listen. You're going to have a girl over to your dorm. Wouldn't she want to hold the smaller controller or whatever while she plays this? And my roommate, without missing a beat, just goes, look at this guy. I think he ever has girls over to his room.
There we go.
Like, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I mean, you didn't really go off and saying you're right or wrong with that, but I wouldn't say even just being in that perspective is wrong. So that's what you're interested in, right? And you were putting on the show to say what I want in my controller, and these are my reasons. So it's like the handicap thing.
Here's the biggest
but
thing, cool, Greg. Somebody put this out recently.
Kev, I had a beer.
It was talking about something somebody offended somebody with in a video game recently. And I forget what it was, but I saw a tweet response to it that was basically the developer immediately was like, that's not what we meant. We're taking this out. We're fixing this thing. Sorry. And somebody's response was like, this is how it should be. That this developer's not defensive about it. They understand that they've crossed a line. They've apologized and they take it down. Because that's all this ever is. Mm-hmm. Where people get into trouble is, hey, you've offended me because I come from a different background of you and this is my experience. And when the other person, instead of going, I'm listening to you and I'm understanding you and let's have a conversation about it, digs their heels and he goes, no, you're wrong. You're being a snowflake. You're fucking being too easy to offend. It's all on you. It's like, no. There's a give and a take here.
Yeah.
And now, granted, lots of this happens on Facebook and Reddit and Twitter. And it's like social media and text on a screen is the worst way to express any fucking opinion and have a real educated debate, a real conversation.
First thing I learned here is no context.
Exactly. There's never any context. So it is that you put something out and you think I'm doing this because I feel of this way. And somebody on the other side of the screen sees it and goes, no. Or doesn't even say no, they don't know. They go, oh my God, this guy's doing this because he's X. And it's like, well, no, that's not what's happening, but you don't know that. And it's
to relate that, can I jump in here?
Of course.
So this is going to sound like a lot of information, but it's all on point. I don't know do you know who Boosie is? Lil Boosie? No. Boosie Badass. All right, so I know it's like a lot of gangster rappers over the years. He's one of the most gangster rappers of all the gangster rappers, right?
Okay.
He's really talented. They brought up his music videos in court. He was on death row for 4 years, I think, and then he ended up being the charges. There was multiple fans that claimed they did the murders to get him out of jail. Like there was a lot of clout, and he's done a lot of impressive things. What I'm saying is he's built a career on talking about killing people, talking about this shit. Where he is now is totally different. He does interviews and he says like, I will never say anything illegal on record. I won't do these things. I'm changing the hood. I'm bringing turkeys out every Thanksgiving. All these things, you know. He fucks up every now and then talking about his 14-year-old son had a birthday. He's like, should I get him a hooker? Tweet that out. So little things like that he fucks up, but he has his own, you know, he brings it back by, hey, where I am, highest population of AIDS anywhere. So if I'm trying to help my son out, don't tell me anything. So it's like, it's all perspective. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I don't care. It's up to you. But he has his point of view. And to go into this conversation, it's like, I think he put out an album called Bupac, and that's a reference on Tupac. Okay. And I think it deserves that album. That's how good I think he is. So should I not support him because he was up for death row? And I don't know if he committed that murder. He sounds like he committed the murder.
Yeah.
Bragged about committing the murder. But you know what I'm saying? But then the people we've, as a society, have decided to handle that.
Mm-hmm. They said he didn't commit
the murder. He didn't do it.
Right.
Or let him off regardless of what they said. I guess we should say that. Say he didn't do it. So that's where I, as a fan, especially as a fan who has a fan base almost.
Sure, you have a community you speak to that respects you and looks up to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's when it gets complicated for me.
Dude, here's the thing about it. There's a lot to pull out of what you're talking about. Is that on paper, of course, it says you are innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
That is not the way it works. And we all know that, right? Where it is the fact of, you can talk about, the greatest thing as an example for me is the OJ Simpson stuff. That was a trial, and you're probably way too young to remember it in the moment, right? Do you remember it actually?
I know the story of OJ from JayZ's new single.
Okay, I don't know that one, but Levels. Okay. But it was this thing that it played out in front of all of us very publicly. And I'm Miss Wick's my teacher, so I'm in seventh grade, maybe sixth grade, but seventh grade, I think. It plays out on TV every day and I forget. Kevin, do you remember? It was like year and a half. It went on and people giving updates, this, that, and the other. There's an amazing FX series about like, I mean, it's
My mom was watching that. I'd walk in every like day or two
Yeah.
and be shocked. Like, I never heard that.
ESPN 30 for 30 did like a multi-part thing on it that's awesome. That's like all documentary. And then FX did the People versus OJ Simpson
show.
with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And it's very much like, you know, a jury of of OJ's peers found him innocent, right? And literally everybody else is like, he fucking did it. And now, granted, I'm talking about now, 2017. At the time, it was a huge source of racial tension between America, where it was like, I'm going to, of course, a suburb of Chicago Catholic school. It was a big deal when our first Asian student showed up, right? Like, we're all white people from affluent households. My parents were the only Democrats in Glen Ellen, right? And so like we were all like shocked that they let this guy off or whatever, whereas like the black community in LA and stuff saw it as a victory and stuff because of course they've been fucked over a million times.
Yeah.
I feel like we're now more to a point where everybody's kind of like, no, we fucking did it. But again, even right now, like, he fucking did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, the jury didn't see it that way. So innocent until proven guilty. He was not proven guilty. Nobody thinks he's innocent. And then when he fucking went 135 days, the trial was televised for. But that's not including weekends, right? So it did go on a year and a half.
He got
roughly.
135 days.
No. Yeah, exactly. But
That's a lot of fucking effort into one person.
and that's the thing of like, it's all fucked up. And how do you deal with how do you deal with that? Like you're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like this dude didn't go to jail. You know what I mean? And like that's the thing of like growing up where, you know, Snoop Dogg beat those charges. But
What's another thing was like, who didn't go to jail? We're talking about Boosie?
yeah, the guy.
4 years in death row. So he was in jail for 4 years.
Oh, I thought you.
That's what I'm saying. But then he beat the case afterwards.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
like, is he a
what,
victim
was DNA
now?
stuff or?
I have no idea. I'm not really up to date on the case play by play, but I know they said he was innocent. He didn't get out for like another 2 years.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is just that makes him the victim, right?
Yeah.
Don't people? So then I don't understand. My point is that where society is at? Like, is he the victim? Is that
Without knowing
in
anything
this
about it, it's tough to
conversation?
say.
You know what I'm saying?
If it's like literally
How
DNA
I'm saying it.
evidence exonerated him or something, then yeah, he totally got fucked. The Innocence Project
Yeah.
should have been behind him and got him out. But I don't know anything about it.
So it'd have to be as but no, just open talking. It would have to be as closed, like case closed, as the DNA puts you off. You are not there. Because a simple you're innocent, you didn't do it isn't going to go there.
Well, I mean,
Like,
if you're already on death row, they've said you're guilty. For you to be put on death row means that you are in line to die eventually.
Oh, shit.
Which means the jury of your peers.
So he must have
peers
reopened
said you
it.
were.
So he must have went back
yeah,
at it.
exactly.
Okay,
There
got
must have been an
got
appeal of some kind
Yeah.
that got him out. But yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. It's always confusing to me. I just want to know. I wish it was a little more clear cut to know who to support, when to support them, how to support them. You know what I mean? I understand it's like an issue everybody has to deal with.
I mean,
but-
the problem you run into is that with
and keep in mind, I'm a graffiti writer, or an X one.
Sure.
So my idea of art already has a bit of mischief already in
the problem you run into,
sense.
right, is the fact that literally everyone has some skeleton in their closet. Literally everyone has said something or done something to make that turn somebody off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like they're like, no, this is why I'll never support Greg Miller, because on Knocking Boots, whatever, a million episodes ago, he said this. And true, I said it, and I probably meant it in jest, or maybe I didn't, or I don't know what the hell I'm hypothesizing.
Yeah.
Everybody has something like that, right? So it was that even, you know, yesterday as we're recording, net neutrality, you know, got yanked or whatever.
Good, bad.
Horrible. FCC voted to be like, no, net neutrality is gone, right? And so here in San Francisco, there's a representative named Scott Wiener. Funny name. Thank you, Kevin. I knew somebody was going to laugh at it. And he put up a thing being like, hey, when we come back from break, I'm going to put in a motion. I forget what it was called. Motion, right? Saying that California is going to be a net neutrality state no matter what. And I quote tweeted, I said, my man, right? And everybody's like positive about it. Some people were like, well, I thought that this FCC thing or this filing says they actually can't do that. And then I was like, well, there's a bunch of people are going to sue them. Doesn't matter. But one other guy was like, well, this is also the guy who voted for the ability for if you, and I don't even want to say it because it sounds horrible, but this is also the guy who said that or voted that if you knowingly spread AIDS, it's not a felony. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay. Like that's an aggressive way of saying it. Maybe I can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's impossible. You can't ever you can't even fucking talk about wrestlers you love, right? Because in something happened way back in whatever that fucked something up.
Something crazy.
And that's the problem. And like with the audience you now have, right? The megaphone you now have, for you to say or support anyone means that anyone out there is going to, like, you know, it could be so easy of us to sit here and be like, dude, how great is Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like, you know what I mean? These fucking matches, coming back from the neck injury with Owen Hart, blah, 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 blah. We could talk your ear off about how great Stone Cold is and all these amazing matches he had. There's a person out there who's only heard of Stone Cold because he had his domestic abuse charge against Deborah, his ex-wife, right? And that's where their knowledge starts and ends of Stone Cold. And for us to talk about him in a positive light, that's what they know. And so they fire back. Wait, you're gonna, you know, be behind somebody who has an abuse charge. And it's like, fuck, that's a great point. And I don't know how to wrestle with that, right? Because now in 2017, somebody does something heinous, it's on camera and you see it and it's in the moment and it's all these different things, right? I was a kid when that happened and I remember hearing about it, and that wasn't the climate. You know what I mean? Hulk Hogan, in a more current climate, says the N-word and is erased from WWE history. Like, right? Everything gone. And now they're slowly starting to, you know, put some footage back out there. Stone Cold did this at a time, and yeah, he was off TV. I think he might have even been maybe retired at the time, but eventually came back. And it was that thing of like, oh, Stone Cold's back, and everybody's like, yay. But it was like, wait, should we forgive him? Like, is that our job? And then it's that thing of like, well, where do we get involved? And this is what you're talking about, where it's like, it's not cut and dry all the time, where it's like, I don't know. I enjoy him as a performer. I enjoy the art he makes, but this horrible thing happens. So should I cut him off, and should I never do it? A great current example, right? All the stuff in Hollywood's happening. Harvey Weinstein, a litany of others, right? And Kevin, I might need you to Google this because I don't want to fuck this up. All right. I'm talking about Woody Allen is where I want to go. You remember his ex-wife, Mia Farrow? Yeah. Their adoptive daughter, I believe, wrote an opinion piece recently in the New York Times. That's all stuff I need you to double check for me.
Which daughter? The oldest?
If you just put in, I don't know, New York Times, Farrow, Woody Allen, why are people supporting him thing. I'm going to go use Google around with these general verbs. You'll eventually find it. She put out this piece of like, hey, it's awesome that Hollywood has turned their back on all these people. Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein. These people are pieces of shit, of course. Why are people still supporting Woody Harrelson? Or I'm not Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's awesome. Woody Allen. I was his adopted daughter. I believe that's correct. And he sexually molested me. At a time when, and like, she has this harrowing account, right? And she's like, court documents back this up. It's something where the judge didn't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And his new movie's about to drop, and it looks awesome. I saw a trailer for it the other day. And it's got Kate Winslet in it and somebody else in it. And in this op-ed, this woman writes about like, I don't understand the double standard you guys are putting out here. She has quotes from the stars of the movie about Weinstein, about other people being like despicable, horrible, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, an open letter, I'm sorry, from Dylan Farrow. And then it's going, a note from Nicholas Kristoff, who I don't know. In 1993, accusations that Woody Allen had abused his adoptive daughter, Dylan Farrow, filled the headlines, part of a sensational story about a celebrity split between Allen and his then-girlfriend, Mia Farrow. This is a case that has been written about endlessly, but this is the first time that Dylan Farrow herself has written about it in public. It's important to point out that Woody Allen was never prosecuted in the case and has consistently denied the wrongdoing. He deserves the presumption of innocence. So why publish an account of an old case on my blog? Partly because the Golden Globe Lifetime Achievement Award for Allen ignited a debate about the propriety of the word. Partly because the root issue here isn't celebrity but sex abuse. And partly because countless people on all sides have written passionately about the events, and we haven't fully heard from the young woman who is at the heart of them. I've written a column about this, I'm sorry, it's small. It's time for the world to hear Dylan's story. So it goes through this, but it's calling out like, here's the stars of this movie demonizing Harvey Weinstein and then being asked about this and being like, oh, I don't know about like, it's not my place to judge Woody Allen, right? And it does get into a sticky spot of like, holy shit, that movie looks great, but holy shit, Woody Allen sucks. And I haven't really had to think about that ever, like, because I've never been on that level. I remember when the old Woody Allen stuff happened and it seemed like he was a dirtbag, but like, We all moved on and we all kind of forgotten. He got accepted back into Hollywood. It's the same thing we've talked about. There's an episode of the GameOverGreggy show about forgiveness, right? And we bring up Mel Gibson, where he's like, says a whole bunch of fucking horrible things, right? And like, wow, this guy's a psychopath and an asshole. And then like tapes get leaked about him talking to his fiance at the time or whatever it was. And now he's in Daddy's Home 2 and he's back into movies. And it's just like, so what do we do? Like, I don't know what to do in this scenario. Like, vote with your wallet. What? Sorry, what was that, Kev?
I'm reading this. Awful.
The Dylan Farrow stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrifying. And that's the thing. And that's the thing for me where it was like, whew, yeah, I can't in good conscience or faith be like, I need to go watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because this guy sounds like a complete fucking piece of shit. But again, right? This is a guy who's like, it's back to what we're talking about, right? Innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't been prosecuted. They lay it out in the thing of like maybe why that happened, but it's still like, what do we do as normal people?
I hear you. I hear you. And I think it gets tough. I think it's extremely different. Not extremely. I think it's very different when you're talking about an actor. Going into this saying, I have no idea. I can't name one Woody Allen movie or anything. Sure. You guys could probably remind me, but I don't know who we're talking about. So I don't, you know what I mean?
He's
I don't
like
know
artsy.
anything about him, you know? Compared to hip hop artists.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think molesting adoptive children, molesting any of that story has nothing to do with the art. Take this out of context if you will, and there's something about the struggle, which sometimes is illegal, that has a lot to do with hip hop. So I don't know. There's different ways to play that out. That's how I'm seeing it from a different.
You make an interesting point about the art and the artist and the art, where Woody Allen's movies aren't about, man, I'm a pedophile dealing with the urges, right? No, like whereas like most rap
we've told them this is what we now accept, but we understand your perspective because you've lived through these things. Like it's really big on JayZ's been talking about selling drugs since he's been a millionaire. I'm sure he is not selling drugs still. You're supposed to expect that. You're supposed to know that. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like it gets complicated with these situations. It's what is it, cut and dry? Like it's just there's no other side to it. But like an open thing Kevin says to me, I don't want to quote him wrong, but I think he said this to me a bunch of times, where he's like, I will never agree with your perspective on the cops, but I totally understand why you're saying it.
No, that's a great point.
Like why you were saying it. Like I wouldn't say it. I don't want anyone else saying it, but I get why you say it. So it's like that always is made sense to me, and I've always tried to treat my perspective even with more respect just because of that. I'm like, all right, well at least he gets it enough to the point where I don't feel like I have to prove anything.
No,
you get so it's just
I've heard your stories.
Myself.
I get it as well. I understand like when when the alarm went off and I was like, dude, there might be cops there, and you're like, I can't do it. I'm like, you have to.
Yeah.
And it's different because this is the thing of this is you're coming at it from my perspective. I'm just like, hey, I'm the white guy that owns this place, and the alarm went off and everything's cool. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But I understand from your perspective.
It's just tough. I'm always gonna be against a bully. I'm never gonna fucking victim shame somebody or anything like that. I'm not gonna act like I understand the story if I don't. And the stories I'm around in San Francisco, Tim was raised in San Francisco. Kevin was raised real close. We all have totally different groups and subsections. Yeah. What the San Francisco I grew up in, dude, cops treated us horribly. Yeah. Horribly. Like, it's like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm not giving any passes. And if I get a little more famous, I'm gonna bring light to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, I don't like anything about that. Now that Ed Lee had passed away, rest in peace. But like, I didn't like anything about none of those going on. Okay. So it's just, I don't know. It's tough for me to think. I kind of lost my train of thought on that. No, I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's what we're talking about. Is like how complicated all this is. Yeah. And the fact that what we are lucky enough and privileged enough to get hung up on at Kind of Funny, right? Is like, man, we didn't like Star Wars, and then getting in an argument with the audience, not an argument, but have the audience come back and forth with us about like if Star Wars is good or not, right? You can take that example and apply it to this of like cops. I think they're good, and you've had so many bad experiences where you don't trust them and you don't believe in them.
And then with that being said, since I'm on camera now, before it wasn't the same, I'm an open ex-vandal. So it's like I'm not they weren't harassing Tim. Tim wasn't breaking the law. Yeah. I wasn't breaking the law every day, but when I wasn't breaking the law certain times, they fucked up. Right. So it's like, I remember those times. When they caught me, they caught me. Yeah. I go to court, I don't lie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I handle it, but it's all about
this is the
being
same thing
in the
of
perspective. And being in San Francisco, it's not even about hip hop. I'm trying to act like I know hip hop I don't know anything about anything. I do listen to hip hop. I do
Yeah.
watch wrestling, so I can speak on those things.
Yeah.
And being in San Francisco with people I was raised with, I have friends that have made mistakes at home with their baby mothers, went to jail, and have grown relationships since then.
Yeah.
Do I have any perspective on that? No, I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? But do I know they've grown since then? Yes. Do I think any of them should have been in jail? No. Is that my decision to make? No. I'm not going to make that decision. It's up to the court and all that. And I understand these things. But from my perspective, I never assaulted a child. I got child assault on my record. I don't get that. I mean, I told you about it where he tried to rob me in our last interview.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's
I
been a
was
long time.
no,
Don't
no,
fucking
I'm
get
sorry,
on.
I'm sorry.
I'll
I'm sorry.
child assault you right now, boy.
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't, but I'm saying, like, I'm not adding parts of the story. One cool, great story has been the same story the whole time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I did fight someone who was underage, but I was the victim.
You were getting
I just
attacked.
happened to win. So it's just, how could you tell me some of these artists that I look up to and I understand their struggle and their struggle is their art. And I feel like that is so much more important than some of these sub conversations of he's in jail, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's like, what about all them turkeys he gave out? What about all these anti-rape seminars he did? Like, I'm not saying that balances it out.
No.
It's like community service. So
No.
it's like little bitch work on top of the bad thing you did. But that's important. It was really important when I heard Chris Brown and when Rihanna talk about against abusive relationships. That was important because I knew it was real. And then so when I hear people talk, not the internet, when I hear people tell me about perspectives about things I'm going through and my city's going through and my friends are going through and my artists are going through, it's kind of like they don't have perspective.
And see, that's the whole thing. Is
They
like,
just have opinions.
It's back to what I was talking about with my mom and Snoop Dogg, right? I don't follow Chris Brown. I heard he beat the shit out of Rihanna. We saw the photos, and I was like, fuck this guy forever.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was it for me and Chris Brown, right? Like, Chris Brown, I have no idea what he's ever done since then, other than be a piece of shit in my head.
Chris Brown's been a piece of shit. I'm gonna put that out.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Okay, sorry. I wasn't sure if we were going the opposite way with that. Okay.
No, but yeah, I'm just saying, we can say he's a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
But that's not fact. What I'm saying is he's done a lot of good since then. And it's not it could be up to you, it could be up to me, or it doesn't have to be. All I'm saying is I feel like we should feel free to have opinions. We have the conversation open, you know what I mean? And to see all sides of it. Because the more in depth I get into the internet and the more in depth I get into just being around people, and I don't want to disrespect my friends, but you guys are on a totally different level. Even the people I'm talking about, Barrett, and just the people you guys introduced me to. You guys he's younger than me.
Oh,
and
Barrett
he's on
Courtney?
his shit. Yeah.
Oh, he's a big piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, a big piece of shit. But that's what I'm saying. They're on their shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a totally different level of understanding life even than I'm used to. You know, so I'm trying to jump in, even though I'm only been in this community for like less than a year. You know, so I'm trying to figure out how to play with everybody, and I just want to still entertain and do the best I can. You know, but it's just tough when you feel like you're getting. It's like, yeah, we support you up until you do something we don't understand. Up until you do something we don't agree with. Then it's like, is that support? I understand you putting me on game. Like Kevin barely ever tells me no. He's just like, he'll talk hella shit and like talk me out of it, you know? So it's things like that is where
the thing you
it gets
run
tough
into-
for me. I'm not complaining because I love the job and I love music and I love the community.
Well, it's tough for you.
I
I
just want
think,
to have conversation.
because what it comes down to is that it's what we're lucky enough to have with the community is we call it you guys best friends because you are and you know everything about us, right? And so when we say something they don't agree with and they respond back, whether it be angry, metered, benign, it's them wanting to have that conversation with us.
Yeah.
And so like where it gets tricky is I used to do it in my early days, right? Of like somebody would say something and be like, wow, I can't believe you fucking feel that way. And I'd be like, well, fuck you, period. And mute them, forget. And it was like, that was wrong, right? That wasn't like what there's so many days, right? And I've talked about this publicly before, where it's been a long day at work. I've been nonstop. I open up the phone, I get on the Twitter, and someone is making a joke about Batman versus Superman or something I said on the show breakout that went up today. And it's negative energy that I'm perceiving as super negative. What it really is them just saying what Nick or Kevin or whoever in the room has said to me and being like, yeah, you're right, you are dumb for that. And it's different for me to be for Kevin to make a mistake and us all to be like, oh, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. And then Kevin to go home and have 47 notifications saying, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. And it would be easy for Kevin to go block, 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 block. But that's not what they're adopting the message of best friends and they're hanging out with us, right? And so that's the whole thing of people consume the content, see us in one environment, never understanding where the other environment is that we're in. And so that's why it is hard to wake up in the morning, blurry eye, open the phone. Hey, this is fucked up. Well, you guys are dumb for fucking this up. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't know. Fuck. Yeah, you're right. We are. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many differing points of this.
All right, so we're back from our little pee break. He needed to go. I need to go. I got a couple refills on my beer. Make sure Sasha's facing the camera. Camera loves Sasha.
What are you gonna do when she comes and hangs out with you here? One day she's gonna come to Kind of Funny and be around all day. You know, wear a suit?
It's weird. It's tough when we talk about Sasha because I've made way too much progress than I'm like comfortable with.
Yeah. You know her husband.
I feel like her husband treats me in a way he shouldn't. Like he actually likes some of my tweets and he responds every now and then. And that's fucking unbelievable. You know, I got nothing respect for them. I feel like I might come off weird if you don't understand me. I know Tim and Kevin, they understand my passion is like, I love Swerve. I love JayZ. I love Sasha Banks. I just respect them. And it's just, it's nothing weird, you know, but I can see it coming off super weird. I
don't know if it does though. I mean, like I mentioned her backstage that one time. I mentioned you to her that one time. She was fine with it. She understood who you were. She was excited.
Granted.
She's like, why didn't he tell me that he knew Xavier?
Right. Actually, right now, I'm not even speaking so much of from her perspective or his. I just think I might come off weird to just generally.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
Like,
no, okay.
I don't think they think I'm an actual creeper. I don't think he'd be talking to me. Like he understands. Like, you know, we're passionate and I that's cool. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do when we first meet and hang out and stuff. Yeah. It's tough because I know I'm going to be full of a room of people that love me that are just staring at me. So it's not going to be
very much like, how's Cool Greg reacting?
Yeah, it's not going to be anything that's just like, oh, she's at Safeway. I ran into her. You know what I mean? Because I'm planning on doing that with Beyonce.
Oh, okay.
I'm planning on running into her at a Target or something.
Beyonce, okay.
She goes on so much concerts and she's always shopping. I just feel like if I just plan it out right, go to a couple Targets or in the area, within a year I'll find her.
Okay.
But I just need to, blow up until then. But yeah, as far as Sasha goes, I'm extremely excited to meet her and her husband, but I'm not ready for it. Okay. You know what I mean? I wanna definitely be on my shit. I've hung around enough people that I respect. Luckily, not to sound cool, like, it's been a blessing. Yeah. But I've hung out around enough people that I respect that I know. We're not talking about them when we meet. We're not talking about me. We're talking. We're chopping it up. You know what I mean? Me and you, we've known for each other. I didn't know how famous you were when I first met you, but every time we talked about fucking bullshit. Like we never talked about IGN. We talked about maybe Hulk Hogan or something, but not doing bad stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it's just you got to go into it with that. You know what I mean? And that's my main thing is like just making sure I come off authentic and it's just like it's real. It's like I don't know what time you were born. I'm not obsessed. I'm not your number one fan. I might be one of your top supporters,
sure,
but definitely you and Weezer. Like I don't got the dates in my head,
right? Exactly.
So I want to make sure it plays out correctly because I'm definitely really excited for it.
Okay.
And I couldn't have done none of that shit without Kind of Funny and the Best Friends, bro. Yeah, dude. At Kind of Funny Live 3, when I brought that up, I was like, dude, I wouldn't be here without you guys. I've seen it so many times on like it's like my pinned tweet. Yeah. So I've seen myself repeat. I was like, you guys honestly don't know. I wouldn't be here without you, or something like that. I said twice. And I hated that at first. And then after like, now it's been like almost a year, or no, I guess it's been like 6 months. Like now it's like, oh shit, there was nothing. I should have repeated it because there was nothing else to say. Like this is really our moment. This is us coming together, and I wouldn't be here without y'all. So like that's so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Because all those best friends are still there, but my whole squad that was in the corner, not all of them are still there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like I appreciate that shit, and I'm going through I'm changing a lot in these last couple weeks, and especially now. Going forward, 2018 is gonna be different. By 2019, it's gonna be a whole different Cool Greg, bro. Yeah. Like it's gonna be different. I'm dead serious. Like, and Kevin and Tim are the only ones that have perspective in the sense of they actually know how much I've changed, even though it seems like little things. Paying for Muni, I pay for Muni now. That sounds stupid. That
You're
sounds
an
stupid,
adult.
but you know what I mean? Like, like when was it? Damn, I don't know. Maybe like 6. I want to say maybe might have been last Halloween. He was trying to convince me like. You're stupid, pay for Muni, even if you don't get caught. And I'm like, nah, you're dumb. I'm getting away with it. What are you talking about? Like now it's you know what I mean? It's all about cause and reaction. You know what I mean? You put good out there, good's gonna come back, man.
I would say probably right behind The Rock introducing me, or maybe even the video I have from backstage of The Rock introducing me. Your clip is the clip I've watched the most from Kind of Funny.
That's lit.
Because it's so genuine awesome. Because my concern in quotes of bringing you on board was I was afraid you would struggle with the fact that you were now working a 9-to-5 job, for lack of a better term, even though we're drinking beer and we have a kegerator or a bunch of assholes. Woo! I was afraid you would struggle with, man, my old crew doesn't think I'm cool anymore. And so when you did, like, you know how Kind of Funny Live 3 is. There's a million fucking things going on. We're in a million places. I don't have time to focus on anything.
Yeah.
So when you thanked everybody and you went, you know, some people call my story a sob story. I call it a mob story. And you looked up, and I was on the other side where I could look at you and then look at your crew explode in the upper deck. And I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome that your band of hooligans, it doesn't see this as you selling out or fucking off. Or they were like, you've made it. Like, you're doing something awesome.
Yeah.
And that one, I was like, wow, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, there's a few of them I have to calm down because they're very supportive. They just don't get it always, where they don't understand how wide our community is. So they'll see some comments on my pictures about like, hey, dude, you killed it, or you're doing great or whatever. And they'll like mock them. Not them, but they'll say it too, like right back at me, like, hey, dude, I fucking love you. And I'm just like, dude, like, this isn't even the place for that. But literally besides that, they're all about it, man.
That's awesome.
They're all about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I recently, on one of my things, I forget what it was I put up, but something celebratory of something. One of my friends from college popped up, and it was basically like, go kill yourself. And all these kids jumped on. I'm like, don't talk that way to Greg. And I'm like, no. He's
It's
doing
my
it.
man's
He's
like,
doing it in the fun way. Don't worry. No. He's not doing it in the asshole way. Thank you. It's
that's
okay.
super funny, man. Yeah, I could understand that, especially knowing so much people, as much people as like obviously Greg Miller with 1 million followers, you know what I mean? Like, you have a huge fan base, but you also know a lot of these people personally, and that's
the point,
fucking that's intense. You know what I mean? I've worked for some local celebrities in the past, like right before us and everything, and like they can't name their fans like that.
Sure.
You know?
Well, that's what we're different. That's why
Best
we're
friends.
different, why we're special.
Community.
And that is the
Yeah.
whole thing of like what sets us apart from it, and the fact that celebrity is like obviously such a weird term because we're not. I'm not fucking Bill Murray. Trending.
There
You know
you
what I mean?
go.
But like that is the thing of like there is a difference in the fact that I can talk to you about Amy, or I can talk to you about
Was Bill
Zaire.
Murray the guy that you brought up? It might have been in our last interview where you're like, I was surprised to find out I had more followers than him. Where you're
No,
like, holy shit! Oh, was it
Bill Murray's
more?
not even on Twitter. He's too weird for that.
Oh, okay. It was somebody. I remember talking.
I mean, it happens all the time.
He's like, that's when I realized, like, what the fuck? It's kind
Yeah.
of like we were talking about earlier with not Death Angel, but the other band, saying that like they responded to
Lucky
you.
Boys Confusion. Yeah. No,
It
that
sucks. I'm gonna remember Death Angel forever, bro.
fucking Death Angel, Kevin's favorite band. No, it's always a weird one. Yeah. But you've been awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it meant a lot that, we hired you before Kind of Funny Live, but waited to surprise you or waited to surprise the kids with that announcement. Even though Nick did his best to fuck it up every chance he had.
Every chance.
Every chance he had.
What was it? Hey, take this to your desk.
I left this on Cool Greg's desk the other day. I'm like, what? But like, I remember, I'll never forget, like, because like, I love Kevin. But Kevin doesn't count, right? Like, Kevin was always a foregone conclusion that he was going to work here. So I don't count him as the first hire, right? Like, that's why I don't give you this year in the new class bullshit. But like, you were our first hire, really. And when you walked around that day to everyone's desk and shook our hand and said, I won't let you down, I was like, oh, right. Like, fuck. Like, that's weird. Like, this is somebody's life. Like, this is like we're changing somebody's life.
He did something, bro.
Right? Yeah, that's weird.
That's so funny,
And then it
man.
all happened. Like, I was the other day, Ashley Birch and Deck 9 and Square Enix were through here. And the Square guy who came through is one of our biggest supporters. He's the guy who sent us to Kind of Funny, or I'm sorry, to PAX Prime, PAX East, all this stuff.
Cool.
But he hadn't been here since the studio. He's only been to the spare bedroom. And so when I was walking through and I was explaining the space, for somebody who's never been here, it's a different way to explain it of like, cool, keep in mind, and when we got to the back room, I was like, keep in mind, it used to be all of us up front, and then this room was just storage of emptiness. Nothing happened in here. And then literally it was one day, we got Cool Greg, and then Andy and Joey came right away. And I was like, fuck, where do we put them? What's happening? Oh, I guess they're in fucking Kevin's room. It was like, it was this insane thing of where I talk about all the time of walking into the office one day. I call it the house. Walking into the office, and it was you, Joey, and Kevin having this conversation up front about TV or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. And I just walked through and walked to the back room and shut the door behind me and turned to him and Nick, and I'm like, they have their own lives. Like it's like
so
Kind of
weird.
Funny has a culture all of a sudden, because forever it was like, all right,
guys.
if it's not me, Colin, Tim, Nick, Kevin, but Kevin wasn't even on camera for most, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if it's not us, this doesn't happen. And so the fact of like, you guys are running off making vlogs and doing all this different shit and like putting up a Christmas tree and blah, blah, and it's like, it's mind-boggling when I have that time, the rare time to stop and look back and be like, man, I look back, we've built something, right? Like this means so much to me. The fact that there's this artwork that in that this photo that is, you can look at it and be like, that is kind of funny.
The one before this, I was there was one of the changes where I'm not sure if it must be GOG, where our drawing. What drawing is it? It's like another cartoon drawing. I think it was in this corner where all of us were in it. And I went up to, and it was one of those changes since Andy's been here. So I think this is the third time we've changed this thing.
Yeah.
So I guess the second one, I was like, Kevin, I'm on the set.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally on the set. I don't even have to be on camera. I'm on camera. Like that's fucking crazy. I've only been here for a couple months. Like, and I'm on the set. Right. That was a moment for me. And I remember thinking that. And now I'm here. This wasn't a moment for me. This is cool as fuck. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, I've already been on the set.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
I could walk over here and put my fucking autograph right there. Like, I can add to the set. But it's just that moment was, I'm going to remember that one for sure. Like that was crazy to me. Because it was basically, maybe you guys didn't see like this, but I feel like you guys putting trust in me. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you're doing your job right here. Yeah, that
cartoon there. Show it to the kids.
There, I was like,
Joey,
oh,
Kevin. We have a kegerator.
It's so good.
Am I in front of it?
Oh, no, I'm trying to figure out.
No, he's trying to figure out there's a lot of beer going through all of us right now. And it's like,
So good. It's making me stronger.
But no, it's
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, kind of funny is a weird fucking beast. You know what I mean? And we've known that from the get go. But like is to how proud I was this year in 2017 to bring in Danny, Andrea, and Gary Whitta to do this show with us, right? And bring them in and be like, cool, we're going to pay you, so you're part of Kind of Funny, but you have your own thing, and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, your own thing is more important. The pride I felt when Andrea got announced as the host of the Nintendo World Championships, and she was credited as Kind of Funny Games Daily, and What's Good, of course. You know what I mean? And it is that thing, I'm like, fuck, that's awesome that people see us in that way, and like, you run into people and like, I just came off of PSX and Game Awards and seeing these people that I see you twice a year and be like, holy shit, you guys are killing it. And this is awesome. And this is amazing. I listen to this show and I do that thing. And it's like, wow, you don't expect the stuff we make. Cause I expect, I picture it being out there as a utility for Trevor Starkey, at his job or whatever, or, Alex O'Neill or whoever's watching on YouTube. And then the post I love the most over on the subreddit where it's somebody show where you watch the guys or whatever, and it's people driving tractors and they're just listening to us on MP3 while they do their job, right? In Australia.
Never seen that. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so like I think of it that way now, where I think of how community focused we are and how the best friends drive everything, that I never think of Neil Druckmann in between meetings or whenever the fuck he's listening to any of this shit, listening to this, or Shuhei talking to me backstage about, oh, I like this Kind of Funny Games. You were wrong about this. I'm like, thanks, Shu. But you know what I mean? Like, it's weird the world we have and the fact that, when at backstage at the PSX at the Uncharted panel that Andy met Neil for the first time and he's like, oh, man, he's like, oh, I know your voice. I've heard you on Kind of Funny Games Daily. And it's like, Andy's dream was to work, to be an intern. Kevin's leaning way back off his mic.
Neil's the guy that's like the best animator or whatever he was talking about? No? Oh, never mind. Sorry. His dream was to what?
Talking to your microphone, Kevin. You're ruining this interview.
Sorry.
Eat your meat.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
I'm mad.
I was pitching for Greg. I thought Greg Miller would fucking bat that out, but like Andy's dream was to be an in.
Well, I was saying it, but I like you to be part of the show.
Oh, were you saying it?
I was. I was doing that thing where I repeat everything you say after you say it.
No, I know. I thought you were gonna take over. I was just trying to pitch.
Well, I don't know the story.
Oh, sorry. Andy's dream was to be an intern at Naughty Dog.
Oh.
Like he told me, dude, like it's the biggest deal that this guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm like run Naughty Dog
as boss."
And it's
well,
like,
I mean, technically Evan does, but I'm not.
Yeah,
splitting
but
hairs.
whatever. But,
I just want to remind everybody that Evan's up here, Neil's down here.
To put
Scott Lowe somewhere in here. Not sure where Scott Lowe is.
I don't want to give Kind of Funny too much credit, but I think it's different when every fucking hip hop artist thanks their fans. Can't do it without their fans.
Yeah.
I listen to hip hop. They do not respect their fans. Like, that's not what's going on. I don't know musicians you listen to. I'm sure they're thanking their fans. I don't think they respect their fans the way they say they do. I'd cold-heartedly would say, or I would honestly say, wholeheartedly, there we go.
Wholeheartedly is not.
I would wholeheartedly say, like, I feel like all of us really do that when we say how much like they've changed our lives. Like, it's like Andy's story, you know what I mean? And to go off what we were talking about before the side thing from Kevin. That was disrespectful. Just saying.
Fucking
But we were going off before that.
Sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Like just my jump into Kind of Funny was almost like picture perfect because it was my best friend telling me I can do it. My brother saying like, "Hey, dude, if you fail, it doesn't fucking matter. Like I got you. Like we're good. I got you. We're fucking just.
I didn't realize that was the pep talk he gave you.
Yeah, I got you. He's like, just you know what I mean. Just fucking do it. Like I think you can do it.
Swing the bat.
Fucking do it. You know, and just go with it. Like I said, I didn't know how famous you were when I met you, so we met very gracefully. Colin was just chill the whole time.
Yeah.
No problem. Nick was on cocaine. Nick, you know, not really on cocaine, but you know what I'm saying? That characteristic.
No, just let that hang.
Yeah,
That's
on
what he
cocaine
was.
Nick. There you go. But so he was always just that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And those are all great. But then when you're talking about this new era, I'm very sensitive. Like I'm a lot more sensitive than people think. I throw on my hood and keep my hat on because I don't want people looking at me and talking to me and shit because I get uncomfortable, you know? So it's like it takes a lot for me. It doesn't take a lot for me to get uncomfortable. And the fact that I met Joey in my mind, I don't know the exact date or date. I met her at the Christmas party, the holiday party last year. You know what I mean? I wasn't an official member at all by any means.
But you'd helped out enough that
helped out
we
a
tried to
couple
pay that
here and
forward.
there. You guys invited me and I fucking loved it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a small group, you know? And I remember they were all taking a picture, all the girls, and I stuck my picture in. And my picture got put up on everyone's page because it was like me taking with all the Kind of Honeys, you know? So it was like those moments was like I met her in a way that like it almost if she disrespects me, it'll be changed. She never would. But like she's good for life. You know what I mean? Like just the way I met her was perfect. I met Andy because I thought he was Screw Attack. No. Who's the other one?
Game Attack.
No.
Funhouse.
No. It's the superheroes. Tim was a Power Ranger. Tim was a Power Ranger. Max Knight is.
Oh, Ismahawk.
I thought he was Ismahawk at Kind of Funny Live too. That's the only reason I talked to him. I think he was talking to Tone Deaf. So I walked up like, "What's up, Ismahawk? What's up, Tone Deaf?" And then kept it pushing. You know, my bad, but kept it pushing. And then when I actually legitly met him, Kevin was super fucking excited that we got Andy. And he's been talking to me about this guy Andy, and he's gonna how we're gonna get Andy, and then he finally got you guys to get Andy or whatever it is.
Fucking forever.
So he finally
played hardball, didn't he?
We're at his house cleaning out the room from because he used to live with Kevin's mom or whatever. And
No, he lived underneath.
sorry.
He rented a room from Kevin's mom.
So I didn't realize that would sound weird.
He lived with Kevin's mom.
That's Andy's
He was
joke.
Kevin's stepdad for a hot minute, but
So yeah, I don't remember if we cleaned out the room. I just remember we went there to work real quick.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but I think we did. And then I took a break. I went out. And I think I was smoking a cigar by myself in the middle of like a tree. I was just by a tree, like how I'm in the night, like how Nick says.
Yep.
And a car pulls up, and it's just like, "Hey, cool, Greg. Hey, you want help?" And I was just like, "Who the fuck is this, dude?" Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on because like I'm in the middle of my own zone.
Yeah,
I'm listening to music.
yeah.
I'm not even talking. I'm not even thinking about that. And then I realized he pulled into Kevin's thing. I'm like, "Oh, this is the guy we've been fucking waiting for." Obviously,
Yeah.
jump over there. And then since my introduction to him in my mind was, "Oh, hey, cool, Greg, you want to help?" Like just hella super casual, like just nothing. I'm just there like smoking my cigar with my headphone, like almost not in the suburbs, but in a nice little dead area.
Oh, yeah.
Looking like a fall wall. Like what the fuck? But it was great, and Andy's my boy. Like you know what I mean. Then he hopped out of the car, and I just wasn't uncomfortable. I felt like I could say anything, I could do anything, and the conversations we have, half the time he's. What did you just say, cool, Greg? No, don't say that again. But let me talk to you. He's always helpful. I love it.
no, I mean we have something incredibly special here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you look at the photo, or that's a painting. That's that photo. But either one of them, like the way, I mean, none of it doesn't make sense in the way that we brought in Kevin right away, and then to bring on you, and then to bring in two standout members of our community who are doing amazing work and bring it all together.
Yeah.
On paper already, you're like, oh, that'll make sense and that'll be great. But the vibe we all have together, you know what I mean? And the way we all work together and the way we're all driving towards the same goal is amazing.
I love when Miss Renee gets mad when she tries to help and puts the coasters down, and I'm like, "It's just the wrong green, mama." Like, I'm sorry. Please do this one, but it's no disrespect. But
No,
like,
she
man,
knows
it's
it.
just the
She
wrong-
knows it. But
it's
that's the same
super
thing is that we're
playful,
all,
man.
none of us are divas. None of us are do it for us. We want to help. We want to do it, even if, but it's that, we don't know what it's supposed to look like. It's like I could sit down here as I do for 3 million shows, whatever fucking year, and I have no idea what fucking color bar is supposed to be here. But Tim sits down here, and it's the first thing
Instantly,
he fucking sees.
Tim calls
and
me on
that's
it.
the reason why when we sit down here, Kevin always goes, "Tim, Nick, you all right with the shot?" Because he knows I'm like, "Oh, the camera's on. That's good enough. Kids will be fine with it. That'll work."
Here we go.
And then Nick will get up and fucking start moving these things, and I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, we're family, and that's the point of it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I definitely feel like a part of this. When I first jumped in, I definitely felt like I had to earn it. Maybe not earn it. I felt like
Prove yourself.
I wanted to prove myself.
Yeah.
Now it's to the point where it's like I just see how the business works, and it's such a weird business of entertainment that's like you guys sometimes don't always necessarily. I'm not gonna say prove yourself. You don't always necessarily have to work as hard. Kevin never really told me not to, but like looking back on it, because he's super nice, like. Or not super nice, but because he was respectful.
Nice
That's the wrong way to say it. But like, because he's respectful. Like, I honestly thought I was helping the business by jumping on those Instagram streams.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just felt like I remember talking to you. You'd give me a hard time, not a hard time, like jokingly hard time about not being on Twitch and all this shit. And I'd just be like, I'm not on Twitch. I'm gonna talk to the people that ain't on Twitch. That's where I'm at. And if Twitch has certain standards that I don't know about, I know what Instagram has, and I can play with those rules.
Great point.
So it's like those kind of things where it's like, but now I'm not gonna say it was stupid or anything like that. Opinions aside, a year later, where I'm at now, like that didn't help our business. It might have helped my fan base, or not my fan base, my relationship with the best friends.
Sure.
But
that's what this is all based on.
But I mean, I could have done that in different ways. I could have not done that and still just responded to the tweets and still just put out things. You know what I'm saying?
Question I get, and I'm not annoyed because it makes sense, but it is that thing where I'll be talking to somebody, whether it's a prospective advertiser, sponsor, just somebody who wants to know about the business.
Yeah.
And they'll ask me, all right, cool. Oh, wow, that much money on Patreon. How big is your audience? And it's that thing of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we have, for a long time, not even for a long time. When I started youtube.com/GameOverGreggy and started putting up YouTube videos, my thought process was, I'm going to put up this show, Conversation with Colin, and I'm going to put up this show in a couple weeks called Oration. And I thought, I have 60, 70,000 Twitter followers. That means these videos are going to get 40 to 50,000 views at a time. It was right as I got cancer, so 2012.
Holy shit.
And then so I was like, these are going to get this amount of views. And so they never did. They always were like 8,000, 9,000. All right.
How much you think? How much you expect?
Oh, I expected, I'm stupid at the time, and I expect everybody who follows me is going to click through and see this shit. So it was like, because I wasn't looking at IGN numbers on things I tweeted out, so I didn't fucking know.
Man, I throw free parties and none of my motherfucking friends show up.
Yeah.
I don't know what you talking about. All these people gonna click that. Nah.
And so even today, we put up a video or a podcast, and we're super proud of it. And, you know, we have we're about to hit 230 subs, right? On Kind of Funny Games. We're 227 or whatever on Kind of Funny. Views on whatever are all over the place, right? Where it's like, sure, some video will do 100,000 views. They do love and sex stuff that does 1 million for some goddamn reason. But you come down here and you're in this morning show, because we're doing it every morning, is 10 to 15 maybe, and I'm being generous there. Kind of Funny Games Daily is usually 25-ish, give or take, on either side. Then the GameOverGreggy breakout is basically what I'm saying is the YouTube views have never been like, we're a million view channel. Mm-hmm. And for a long time that was like, oh, that sucks, that's weird. And then it's that you look at the audio numbers, and the audio numbers are so much higher. And you're like, oh, right, people still consume us as a podcast thing. But then it's that thing of, wow, that's awesome. So do they know about party mode? Do they know about Cooking with Greggy? And then we'll put out Cooking with Greggy, and Cooking with Greggy will spike and be great.
I thought of that, yeah.
And so when somebody comes to me and they're like, well, how big is your audience? It's this thing of just like, your guess is as good as mine. You know what I mean? Where it's like, sure, we have these subs, this is what we do, but that does that, but this does this, and then it's the Patreon numbers. And luckily, we're in a space that whoever we're talking to understands the value of not the largest community, but the community that wants to be the most active. Okay. And so it is that fact of like when we, and this is not me at all stumping for the ad, but when we put out the Omaha Steaks ad, and I'm like, legitimately, I love this thing. And so many of you tweet, and Omaha Steaks tweets back, and this, that, and the other, like, that goes a long way. And it's the same way of, hey guys, Taco Master is a great game. And fucking Taco Master can chart this not great platinum or whatever at 9 on PSN. And that's the reason that I'm invited. Well, I'm in a good interview, I assume too. But that's the reason that we're invited to come on the PlayStation stage for PSX. And that's the reason people Aisha Tyler should have never come to our spare bedroom, but she saw our audience be active and talk to people. And Will Friedle, even though I'm giving him shit lately on Twitter, is a good guy who's going to come on the show eventually. And again, us horsing around in the community get involved, they see that. And so it's this weird thing of, I forget what the original question was anymore, how the fuck I got on this tangent.
It's all good.
How big our numbers are. Huh? Yeah.
Should I jump in? So I've been at Kind of Funny for a
Kevin, can
year
we get
now.
some more beers here?
There we go.
We got to die of thirst. Can you open the windows? It's hot.
Thank you. As soon as it gets bad.
There go the windows. That's what I
Too late? Is it bad?
Oh, no. Here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
Here's what I'll tell you. On this one, give me a Hell or High watermelon.
Hell yeah. Which one do you want? Racer 5 or Hell or High?
Stronger one.
That's Racer 5.
Yeah, I know.
Go with your gut, Kevin. So so you said something. I think I might have gave you a look that threw you off, and I hope I didn't cut you off.
No.
Okay, because I was like looking at you like this for a second, hella hard. I was like, oh shit, that just shut him up. Like,
No.
So you said something that stuck out to me a couple of times, and that was and it wasn't your main point. It was the fact that you said that the community we have is the most active.
Sure.
And that is a way of describing the community. I've never heard it described like that. Tim, Kevin, no one's ever said it to me.
Sure.
And you, even on the show, I've never heard it like that. I see us as when you first put out the question about how many supporters we have or fan or whatever you wanted to call it at that point, and then you said the whole podcast compared to listeners. And I know some of the people that I talk to in DMs on a nightly basis, some like Skizip.
Jamie,
those guys, you know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't be surprised if they watched it both. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing where it gets so hard to tell of like, what do you watch? What
super crazy. Yeah. So when you're saying the most active, that's very interesting to me, because as somebody who is telling, I hope I'm not shoving it down anyone's throats, but I always want to be, I tell Kevin I don't understand what's going on all the time, every day. I'm like, dude, you point, I'll do, but I'm not going to pretend like I understand it.
Sure.
So as somebody who's like that, it's like, if somebody would have told me this community is the most active, I feel like a lot of my issues of understanding how to deal with the community would be different if I knew their goal was to be the most active. If it was all about having the opinion, my whole mindset going into this whole situation is different. I'm thinking we're best friends. Now I'm thinking my friends should understand when I don't want to hear that. When I'm saying something that's totally positive, I don't want rain on my parade. You know what I mean? And it goes as far as the verified people that followed me compared to the people that I barely know, but they respect me, so I respect them.
You think I haven't been there where I want to make a... I'm saying
I'm sure you've been there, and that's why I talk to you guys.
Literally Justice League, right? Where I'm like, hey, I understand we were going to have problems. I said, I don't know if it got interpreted the right way, but on our Justice League Reacts, right? I said...
I was here, I don't remember it.
It's fine. I opened up and like, what did you think, Greg? And I'm like, well, for the record, I wouldn't even do this if Jack wasn't here. Because we had a guest. Jack came in from Rooster Teeth to do this thing. And my problem is video games, right? Somebody wants to argue with me about if Uncharted 3 was a 10. Somebody wants to talk to me about why I don't feel like I've connected with Nier or Persona this year, blah, 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 blah. I'll sit there and I'll discuss it till the cows come home. Twitter's harder because I'm in the middle of stuff, right? Because that's my profession, that's my wheelhouse, that's my expertise.
Yeah.
Movies are not. So when I finished Justice League and literally the final 15 minutes were me trying not to cry because it's everything I've ever wanted, I wanted to go home and just be left alone with that. I didn't want to hear why people didn't like it because, with all due respect, I don't give a fuck. I enjoyed that. I'm done with that. I want to walk away with that memory in my heart.
Yeah.
And so I know what you're saying of tweeting out something and wanting and just being like, hey, everybody, here's what I think. But that's not what we do. And that's the same thing with the reacts. Like that would have been the bad move for me to do too. Where it is, obviously I need to be in the conversation. I'm the DC guy.
Yeah.
But it's also the fact that even though I don't think of myself as a movie reviewer or critiquer, I am. If I'm going to be on these reacts products, I am. And so for me to comment on Twitter about anything is me opening myself up for cross-examination or to have these things. Now, the problem, of course, is that I can't answer everybody. There's nothing more than I hate of having the in-depth response conversation back and forth with somebody, and then there being 3 more tweets from three other people being like saying the same thing, and you're like, it's not your job to look through my @replies. I get that, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's it's a never-ending battle. AMAs are the same way when you do an AMA on Reddit or something, and it is like, hey, I'm here to answer all these questions, and then I have to start being like, well, if you see my response above, if you see this, blah blah blah, and when I say active, I don't think that's incongruent with best friends, right? If Poe, my best friend, my brother, hit me up right now and was like, dude, I just saw Justice League and I didn't like it, and I saw you did like it, or I saw the better example for right now, I saw The Last Jedi and I loved it, I heard you didn't like it, let's talk about it, we'd be into it. And it wouldn't be, let's fucking kill each other, right? But the problem on the internet is that it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff. And it's hard to understand that you're a best friend coming at me passionately, but you still respect me. But in 140 characters, like, you're fucking wrong about this. Then it's like, guess what, motherfucker? My shield is up, my sword is up, and let's go. And I understand, and it's just so hard. And I know that that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater and all these different things, but it's where it's at. And so when I say the community is the most active community, I don't even mean responding to our tweets. I mean the fact that the Kind of Funny community and the best friends act like no other internet community on the internet ever in the history of me being on the internet or anything.
Even though I don't understand it, I agree with that.
Where on PS I Love You XOXO, that one time Colin and I were like, Jason Schreier is getting death threats and that's fucked up. Everybody send him love. And that community said, you know what? We're going to do that every week for a developer and a journalist.
Time out. Is that what Sweet Nasty Love started as?
No, that was, I think it might have piggybacked off of that.
Okay.
This was hashtag PS We Love You XOXO.
Okay.
But that isn't normal. A person.
Yeah, it's not internet, like just,
a
verbatim
person
or whatever.
from our side of the internet, of an IGN traditional games person, being able to beat a PewDiePie or a Markiplier at the Game Awards for Trendy Gamer Award is not normal. That and I feel like, we didn't get it for Andrea like we did it for me, and I think part of that is the fact that we did it already for me. I think we're in a different place in 2017. She's not official full-time Kind of Funny, so maybe people don't have the connection with her. But still, I heard how close it was between her and Dr. Disrespect, and it's like,
was it really close?
Yeah,
that's
the
awesome
thing where
hear.
it's like, even that, and like, and here's what I'm talking about the how active we are. The fact that it's close is amazing and awesome and blah, blah, blah. That in fact, you're able to go with like the #1 Twitch streamer. Beyond all of that, I've known Andrea my entire career. I've always said, and I've told her this privately.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've always said privately that she is an untapped resource and talent. Because what Andrea has, and I'm using quotes here if you're an audio listener, I don't know if everyone else, struggled with, in quotes, is the fact that she's always been a nomad. She's always been a freelancer. So it is that thing of, oh, I saw you on GT, or I saw you on Mahalo Games, or I saw you on, you're great. There's no place to go to. Whereas with me, it's like, all right, cool, I was at IGN, and now I'm here. And so you know where to go for Greg Miller content and where to avoid Greg Miller content. And so the reason she was Trendy Gamer for me this year is the fact that she finally, I don't know if got that as the right term, but she made what's good, and she started working with us.
AKA a whole lot of gang shit.
Yeah, right? Where it's like all of a sudden she has a home and people understand that. And so to my point of the active community was watching you guys, the Kind of Funny best friends. So many of you become What's Good Games best friends. So many of you reach out and talk to her. So many of you go to our subreddit and make threads about why you like her. If there was a subreddit thread, or if there was a subreddit thread and I sent it to her, she'd already seen it and she responded about how that blew her away. If there was if you were out there tweeting about her and how great she was hearting those. And I know that if you're not thinking about it, you watch me and Tim and Nick and you and Kevin and Kind of Funny in general, and you go, well, that's just how it is. That's just how we are. That's how we are to each other. That's how the community treats the people they respect and love. Mm-hmm. That is not the internet. I've seen this woman do amazing work her entire career at a million different outlets and not get treated with that respect and that love. And that broke my heart for the longest time. And then in 2017,
I never knew any of this.
she made her own thing and started working with us. And suddenly it was.
What's Good Game was 2017?
Yeah.
Holy shit, didn't know that either. Thought they'd been around for a while.
Yeah, no. And that was the thing of like, it all made sense. I mean, What's Good Game, I think, started 2 weeks before Kinda Funny Live 3.
Just to put it on wax, right? Her tagline is "What's good?" every day when she sees him.
Oh.
Fuck, she beat me to it. I got a weak ass "What's Hannin'?" Man, I don't know
like
what's
What's
Hannin'. What's Hannon's cool, but fuck, I would have done What's Good.
Well, now he can start saying What's Good. It's fine.
I would have done What's Good in a second, man.
I'm worried they're gonna try to steal Joey at some point. They've said on Twitter as much.
Hey, I've seen them. I say bye and then they hug and then they leave, and I'm like, hold on, bro. They hugging now? We hugging? I never hugged nobody. What's going on, bro?
I don't like that one.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That was interesting as shit. But as far as going into the conversation as we are the most active community, you're saying it's.
I'm saying our audience talks to us, talks on our behalf, talks to strangers in a way that does not happen on the internet.
That is true. I honestly get tagged in a lot of tweets that are not directed at us. They're directed at people telling people about us.
The amount of times
fucking cool.
I've woken up at the old place and
sure.
gone out and walked Portillo and seen the phone, and it's Alexa, it's Mike Bithell, it's David Jaffe saying like, holy shit, the Kinda Funny community is awesome because they're all tweeting me because of this hashtag. When Mike Bithell did his first Twitch stream with us and then tweeted out, hey, I noticed I have a lot of new followers. Why? And everybody's like, kinda funny. Like our audience, if we say, hey, this person is cool, you should follow them. Hey, go watch this show. Hey, do this. And not the ad stuff, even though, again, if we're doing ads, we like it. Hey, go do this. You guys look at us and go, oh, we're small, but we believe you. We're all in. Whereas with IGN, if I was like, hey, I did Sony Vaio commercials for like up at noon, right? Like, nobody ever fucking tweeted me of like, hey, I bought that Sony Vaio you told me to buy. I love it. It was always just like, no, that's just a thing and blah, blah, I'm on my way.
This is interesting. So I think when I first went off on this conversation or first brought it up, I was thinking of active in a different way. And I guess it's active by definition for sure, but you're saying active towards getting other people to listen. When I was thinking, when you said active, I was like, in response to us. You know what I mean? You say something, everybody responds. Kind of like you put a link out, everybody clicks it. So that's why I thought that word active would change my mindset. But no, it's not an apologize thing. It's like, I like that. Like this is a thought no one's ever explained to me like this, and I would like to go forward thinking like this.
Here's another great example that like it's one of those funny things, right? It's like a joke of like, how many times has this famous movie line, Luke, I am your father, was actually said in fucking Empire, right? Or whatever. It was never said.
What's the joke? Oh, wait.
It was never said.
Okay,
Everybody thinks that was said. It never was. I bet if you went through...
He doesn't say, Luke, I am your father.
No.
That's not it?
Search your heart. You know it to be true, right? And then, and then he's like, no, I am your father.
Oh, so it's like a sentence rather than just a... shit.
So everybody thinks it's the same way. And this is a reach, but stick with me for the active stuff, right? If you went through...
Come out, like Breaking Bad. He never says science, bitch, or whatever the fuck, right?
He does
No,
right?
He has to say science. Andy!
I think this is the same thing we're talking about.
No way.
No.
Let's see. Let's wait till Andy.
Definitely says
Wait till Andy.
Andy's talking to the...
Or is it magnets? I think it's magnets, bitch. That's the one.
He definitely says magnets.
So then
Go
it's
get
one of
Andy!
them, I've seen this. What culture? I know.
While that happens, I bet if you went through all of the Kinda Funny content, and granted, we put out a lot of content, the amount of times I talk about Wings actively, a few dozen, you know what I mean? Which sounds like a lot, but again, remember, there's 4 shows a day.
Science bitch. Does he actually?
Oh, no, we'll bring it. Come here. We'll ask you the question on air. So in the seminal series, Breaking Bad, does Jesse ever say science bitch?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Yeah, he says science when they are in the kitchen and they're like first cooking. It's like maybe episode 2 or 3. And they figured something out. I believe they're in the kitchen.
All right, let's cut you off. The argument we're having is there's a Breaking Bad thing that is about this. Maybe it's not science bitch.
He didn't say science bitch. He says, yes. He goes, yeah, bitch. Yeah, science.
That's okay. So he doesn't say science, bitch.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right
So
then.
that's the exact thing. Okay. For sure.
Does he say magnets, bitch?
I didn't know that. It was
Okay,
what
he does say
culture.
magnets.
Not me. Just watch the video.
Science bitch. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just remember it was one of them. That
No,
he didn't
you
say.
nailed it.
Yeah,
You nailed it
okay.
out of the gate.
And then he also says, oh, well, Heil Hitler, bitch.
Yeah, I remember that. Fuck out of here, Andy.
That's crazy. Anyways, the fact that I've probably mentioned Wing Wings maybe a few dozen times, but every time I go into Wing Wings, they're like, dude, people come in here all the time saying
Every
Greg Miller
fucking
sent
day.
me, right? Every day somebody and that's mind-boggling that in our city, a city we've existed in, but like people don't come by here because they shouldn't. Don't do that. But it's like, they're going to Wing Wings and mentioning, they're hitting up the recommendations. I'm saying something in not an offhand sense. I love Wing Wings, right? And everybody knows that. I wear the shirts and shit. But I'm saying it in a way that I'm never being like, go to Wing Wings, motherfucker. And now somebody's going to immediately clip this out and put it next to when I say that. But
Well, since I've known you, I don't know if this is going against what you're saying. I hope it doesn't. Since I've known you, I've only sent you one DM or text where I was like, hey, like my close friend is sitting next to you eating dinner right
Yeah,
now.
I remember that.
That's fucking weird because he doesn't know who you are, but he knows that you're like something in my
Yeah.
life. And that was at Wing Wings. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Like, so you be in the field. Like, you're actually there.
And that's the funniest thing of like, Wing Wings is not close to where I live. So it's like a rarity that I go there. But if I go to Wing Wings, I get recognized at Wing Wings.
Yeah.
Like that's the amount of people that are going through there
fucking awesome.
because I've said it enough that people are like,
Yeah.
well, if I'm in SF, I got to go to Wing Wings. I got to see
It's
what's
cool.
all
You
about.
got your picture autographed in there?
No, that's Portillo's.
Oh.
Wing Wings, I got married in there. We took a bunch of photos.
Got it,
I got to
got
send
it.
those photos. We get them framed and send
you
them
didn't
over.
get married there. You went there after getting
All right,
married.
well, I went there after getting married. It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Ruining the memory, man.
fucking
Ruining the memory.
difference.
Is it a big difference, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Kevin says it is. I apologize.
Nah, I feel it. I love the community. I love that it's active, and I love everything about it. My only issue with it is that I'm not sure of myself for how to deal with it. I want to treat it with respect every single time. And when we're thinking about Twitter, it's weird because like it's the most important thing and it's the least important thing in the same conversation. Where it's like what you say doesn't matter, but then like a tweet doesn't matter, but a tweet can ruin your life.
Sure.
You know what I
You've been
mean?
tossed into an unenviable situation where when I started IGN,
Every DM is saying, "I wish I was where you were."
sure.
You know,
But
so it's
what I'm saying is
complicated,
in the
bro.
mean that when I started IGN, Twitter isn't a thing.
Yeah.
And when Twitter does start, there's just an IGN account. None of us take it seriously. Da 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 da. You jump ahead now at IGN or any big corporation or big company. There's people to dodge behind. This happens. This decision isn't you. Whereas with us, we're such a small group and we are founded on community and best friends that I'm a personality and Nick's a personality and Tim's a personality and to an extent you're a personality. And there's varying degrees of how long you've had to deal with that and how to interact with people because of that. And I do feel for you. I see you where you'll say something or put up your Instagram and then you delete it and you do this thing.
I delete it all, man.
Yeah.
I regret it all, man, because I don't want to disrespect anyone.
But I get that and I get that and I feel but it's like
But
it's you learning the rules.
My personality is disrespectful. That's something I'm trying to grasp.
You think so?
I mean, I don't think so, but it's taken every day. So I'm reminded every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To go off what you're saying, you're a personality. He's personality. We're all personalities. Like, it kind of goes into, in my opinion, and I want it on record, to say, like, not only are you my boss, but you're my friend.
Sure.
You have accomplished so much just at a base level that same way I talk to Tim, like he gets it. I don't know if I could put it into words in a way for other people to get it. I talk to him and Tim and I might disagree and I might say some shit, but they know at the end of the day, I know they're right. I'm just confused at myself of why I don't understand, why I don't think the same way they are. And I need
Gotcha.
them to convince me because I don't get it.
Sure.
That's where I come
Well,
into
that's
it.
learning, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's a learning thing, but I'm 25. You know what I mean? So I'm still learning a lot of shit people learned when they were 17, and that's just me. I love that I got supporters still that can understand my struggle, but it's like I'm definitely not giving no one advice. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So when I hear you talking about, oh, I'm not the movie guy, I'm not the music guy, I'm the video game guy, I'm like, in my perspective, that's something you're putting on yourself. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true from an outside point of view who doesn't know our fan base, who doesn't know our community. I don't think that's true. Same thing looking at Kevin. I think Kevin is a movie guy. He wasn't always, when I first got hired, I don't think he was a personality on movies.
Sure.
I don't know if it's the Twitter. I don't know if it's the movie pass. I don't know what it is. But where he, but
it's
where,
the movie pass.
but maybe he's just more vocal about it. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but where he is now in kind of funny. I can't talk about in the community online. I don't
Yeah.
know nothing about that. I don't know about his perspective or your perspective. From my perspective, in my seat, in Kind of Funny, actually working here and living here, he's officially there now.
Sure.
I don't agree with you saying that he's first not draft, but first fucking.
Okay,
Like,
I'm saying he's not first. He's
what is it now? What is it again?
There's new class.
Yeah, so I think he's new
That's
class.
not a horn-
I
if
think
you're
for
listening
sure
to
he's
this-
new class, but then again, don't know. I
You're
don't know
not
nothing
new
about
class.
nothing.
That's
New
impossible.
class.
So I
King
think
of
he's
the
new
new class.
You
Class
started like
president.
2 months after we found it Kind of Funny.
Class president, new class. That's not true. I started 2 years after you guys had
Oh,
established
fuck
each
you
other.
with that shit.
All right.
Hold on, 2 years.
New class.
So what about when you were working when we were with us when we were
All right, I started
Give-
4 months before you started Kind of Funny as a thing.
and
new
then
class.
and then we hired you,
New class.
but then the next person doesn't get hired for like what? Year and a half?
Yeah, you guys didn't have your shit together.
True.
yeah,
Some would argue we don't
I'm-
still.
I'm glad that I came in and planned.
I want to put it out
there.
there that I think Kevin's like the Mr. Ball. You're not a Laker, but you be following this whole Lakers thing, man.
Yeah.
He be trying to put he on all 3 of his sons on the same team. That's Kevin, bro. He has all 3 of his kids on the Lakers
Sure,
at one
sure.
point, bro. But it's just kind of funny, man. And- But what I'm getting at is that's a label I think you put on yourself because you are such a professional. And I think that's important. It's not just like a normal person. You are actually in that league. It's not your opinion. You are in that league. He's officially in that league. So he can have his own opinion now. But when we talk about movies, like, nah, he's in my opinion, only me, he's on Reacts. And if he's not on Reacts, then that's like on y'all.
Bullshit racist
for
stuff.
fucking up. Not racist, but you know what I'm saying? Then that's a company decision.
Yeah.
But with you, that's not a company decision. That's a personal decision. And where I'm at, I think it's a company decision.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
so these are things
Yeah.
what I'm saying was like, I'm a mob mentality. I'm really for the team. I'm for the team. I love having a leader. I don't want to be my own leader. I love having a leader. Make fun of me for that if you like. I don't care.
No.
It's me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I like jocking people. I love telling people, Sasha, she's the best. I love telling JayZ, you're the best. I love telling you how much I respect you.
Right.
These things, you know, so it's like, I forgot where I was going with this.
Well,
but
that's
just-
all
my
part of
point.
a team, though, right? It's like you
Yeah.
earlier were like, asking with Colin, a conversation with Colin, if Colin was in the title because he was more popular than me, right?
Yeah. That's me not knowing anything about the internet, thinking clickbait.
But here's what you need to think about it as, right? There's nothing I enjoy more than putting someone over, like WWE.
There we go.
Right? And that's
Yeah.
the backyard wrestling in me, probably,
Yeah.
or the fan of being a fan of sports entertainment. But in the fact of like, oh, I can use me to propel you to this. You know what I mean? Like
That's
that's what I
tough.
want to do, and
That's
that's why
tough.
with
Yeah.
everybody, that's the thing, where it is like, how I don't know if I can put into words how special / amazing it is that like there's the Disney emoji Blitz commercial that Nick and Tim are the stars of, and I had nothing to do with it. Right?
I could put it into words. Tim is that guy.
Because my problem for the longest time, starting Kind of Funny or GameOverGreggy or whatever, or even beyond, like like just in general, is like I've always been that leader guy. I've always been the face, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
don't get me wrong, there's been dozens of people behind me at every turn, every business, every whatever venture, making it all happen. But I am the face, and we've definitely in Kind of Funny's history had deals where it was like, cool, we want to book you guys for this. All right, cool. Greg can't do it. Oh, all right, and then we don't want to do
don't
it.
wanna do it, yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck you guys. That's not what this is. You know what I
100%.
mean? Like they all have the reach I do if they want to go do it. And so that we're to a point now where that is legit. That's what I want. And like there was RTX this year. I can't tell you how special it was to walk into a panel room and sit in the back of the auditorium with Joey, Nick, Tim, all this, Jen, Gia, and watch Andy on a panel.
RTX was the Texas one?
Yeah,
Okay.
as a representative Kind of Funny. Because that was the first time where any of the new class was on a panel that wasn't us. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's insane of like, that's what I want. That's
Yeah.
when we founded this, that's what we were all talking about is that I want a lineage where, Andy makes a show on his own that's amazing, and we hire somebody else who comes in and does something that's amazing, and they do all this stuff that has nothing to fucking do with us. And I know that what that leads to, it leads to what happened with us, where cool, Andy gets more and more popular. Personality that I'm talking about, XY guy, gets more and more popular. They go off and do their own thing, and it's like, great. I know, Kevin, it's gonna happen to you one day.
No.
One day you're gonna get popular,
Shut your
Kevin.
mouth.
They're waiting for you anytime now.
Sounds so silly.
Get popular with your bongos, I guess. I don't really know what you do.
So this gets confusing for me as somebody who's like outside of the inside joke. Like, but we don't. But I don't know. I don't even know if this is proper on camera conversation. That's not the actual mentality we have, right?
What?
That like Kevin's gonna go off somewhere. Because I'm in the before I see you or your face or your reaction, like I'm in a mentality of like Kevin's gonna get more popular.
Yeah.
So like, why? So
That
why,
makes the company stronger. Like
no,
that
but
makes
like, but
us
you're not
all-
like no one's expecting you to leave off of that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm in the same boat where it's like, we're a family, and if like
I know,
you know,
I know that. I know.
Yeah.
I even think the fans know that. But like, sorry, you just threw me off by saying that. Like, kind of funny's the understanding of that. Like, we're all growing within each other, right?
Of course.
Because this isn't. I'm not no disrespect to anyone, but like, IGN was used as a platform way before y'all, right? To develop. Wasn't there that girl? Like, didn't she jump to
Oh,
G4?
Jessica Chobot?
Chobot, yeah.
Yeah,
people
okay.
have played
Chobot.
that game?
Chobot was ahead of the game.
Write this down. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this.
No, you are.
Okay. So like, I don't understand. Like, I
Here,
think
no,
hiring us
just stop,
and
just
the-
stop.
Yeah.
I'll save you. Not even save you, but I'll
You're good.
before you say anything. So no, Jessica Chobot at IGN was ahead of her fucking time in a way that I didn't understand, and I've personally apologized to Jess in private.
You didn't support
since
her
then.
when she did it.
No, because I didn't understand it. At the time, I was like, this is all I've ever wanted, to work at IGN and review video games. This is amazing. And I got there, and I was like so happy for every opportunity. But I would see out of the peripheral, just butt heads with management or this, that, or the other. And then she eventually leaves, and it was like, man, like she was the face of IGN. Why would she ever want to leave, right? And then you smash cut to 2014, and I'm the face of IGN. And I want to do more stuff on the YouTube channel, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And IGN, to their credit, not that they're wrong, is like, well, no, you work for us. You can't do that, and you can't do that. And it was like, I got riled up, and that caused us to leave and go start Kind of Funny. And so what I'm talking about is, and this is short-sighted, this is naive, this is us being a young company. But when we hire, I want the best people to come in here and make the best content.
Yeah.
And so with all of you, don't get me wrong, we are family. This is legit, and we're all best friends and legit. I don't ever that's why I talk about the kids all the time. When I ask people to go to Patreon and do all this different stuff, and then if somebody on the Reddit wants to, not challenge because that sounds too aggressive, but be like, we already make all this money. What's the point? Why are there 2 ads in this show? So on and so forth. My response is always like, well, I'm trying to grow this business, and I'm trying to keep everyone here and happy and grow. Because the problem, not everyone, but most people run into at any job, is that you hit a ceiling, and it's like, well, I can't make more money, and I can't get the better title, and I can't do this. So to grow my resume, to do what I really want to do next, I need to go here and get a promotion, and then go here and get a promotion, and like do that, the corporate ladder climbing bullshit. And so with us, and we're young, and we're naive, and we're new, I come into the mentality that sucks, but I accept it, is that at some point everybody's going to leave it. And I hope that isn't true. I hope in a decade from now, we jump ahead and everybody's here along with 10, 20 more people on each side of the portrait for Christmas that Panda Muskie has been animating since fucking July because we're so big. But I come in there and it's like, I never want to stifle Andy's growth, and I never want to stifle Joey's growth, right?
Yeah.
And if it was that Joey came to us and was like, hey, what's good is more in line with the content I want to make, or they've offered me this opportunity, and it would be that thing of it, I would never be like, fine, fuck, you know what I mean? Fuck you, Andrea doesn't work with us. And that's what I was like, no, go. I want to
That's
make,
interesting.
again, to the WWE sports entertainment thing, I want to get you all over. I want you all to be as happy as possible. I want to get you all to where you want to be. If Andy keeps editing for us, but he eventually is like, fuck, man, I really want to be on camera, I hope he says that to us, and then we talk about what show he can make for us, and then that's the Andy show. But if the Andy show gets so popular, and he's like, hey, man, we've been killing with sponsorships and Patreon and all this stuff, I want more money, this is going to happen. Where, hey, I want more money, and we're like, cool, we can't. And
Yeah.
how do we do that? And there has to be, we're family, which is true. There's still the business side of it, where at some point you have to go, okay, go do that. Like, go, if you have to go do that, go do that.
Yeah, you've gave me some perspective I've never thought about. It's not like it's the most important, but I've just never thought about it. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. When I was going off,
Don't fucking rake me over the coals at your employee review.
Huh?
Don't worry.
When I was going off on this, I was like, because I was thinking like, from my perspective,
Yeah.
me and Kevin, like, because I'm specifically talking about me and Kevin
Yeah.
because like, I don't think Kevin didn't promise me a job. He never promised me a job. But even on top of me saying him implying that I might get a job, he's never said I'm gonna get a job. He said I'm getting a new life.
Yeah.
Like everything's changing. He's like,
Yeah.
you don't get this just because you want some money. Like that's not what's going on. Like
Yeah.
it's a decision we are making as a group, me, him, and Tim, plus you guys, obviously.
Sure.
So like when you're saying Joey and Andy, like that's very interesting. Them two specifically because I know you personally, I know them personally, and none of us want them to hold back. So if they can do better without Kind of Funny,
Yeah.
without hurting Kind of Funny,
Yeah.
totally, yeah. So I get that. I never thought about that, but I'm talking about us specifically. Like, I don't know. I think not to try to like sound weird. I think for sure we are in here for the long run. And I don't think
I know.
I don't think there is a success another route where it's like because like what would he do? Have his own show? He doesn't want that. He wants to do our show.
No. Why? Well, honestly,
Or
I
not
think
our show,
one day,
your show. You know what I'm
one day
saying?
I'll work for Kevin. I truly believe.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. He's gonna keep going, but like
Yeah.
he's not trying to. He ain't trying to be no star. He's trying.
I hear you.
He has opinions about shit, but he doesn't give a fuck.
My hope is that we are still in at the ground level enough where all of us here get to grow in our different tracks and do all these different things where everybody feels rewarded and we grow and we bring in people beneath us all that are like, cool, I am bringing you in to host this show. Do you want, and they do it for a year, whatever it is going to be. And then they're like, all right, I want to go do something else. And it's like, totally go do that. I never want to be the company that gets prickly about you leaving or does something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's,
it's tough. And I feel like that's respectable, and I feel like maybe not the internet sees you like that, but I know I think Kevin would too. I think he can agree with me. And jump in if you don't. Like, I don't think we would ever think you. We would joke about it, but I don't think we would ever see you stopping them from bettering their lives, from progressing. You know what I'm talking about? From going forward. So like, that's not an issue. I think me and Kevin and Tim are in a different conversation where it's like, we live this shit. You know what I mean? I'm new and I'm learning it, but I understand this is life. Sure. This is my new life, so I need to figure it out. And every time I fuck up and I get frustrated with you guys, it's because I don't understand it, and it's frustrating myself because I don't understand it. And I want it to be my first thought is the right answer. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
I want to be like, oh shit, this is how I interact with somebody who's disrespecting me on the internet. When I'm used to just being like,
no one talks to you.
Hey, nope. You hear what this motherfucker just told me? Can you know what I'm talking about? So that's what I'm used to. You know what I mean? But that's not at all what I'm trying to go forward with. You know what I mean? Ben told them. I think I told them I fucked up maybe like 7-8 years ago. They gave me a job a year ago. You know what I mean? So they've been in the know and they've been making the moves happen.
Sure.
So like it's all good, man. I love everything we got going for us, and I love where we're bound to be. And I forgot how we went off on this whole Kevin conversation, but like
we just love Kevin.
I want to put it out there. It's like I think, in my opinion, I'm saying it on camera, like and on wax, like I don't think me, Tim, or Kevin are leaving GameOverGreggy. Like that's
kind of funny now, Tom.
That's it. No, but that's what I'm saying. Kind of funny is this thing. I don't know what's going to happen with Kind of Funny. I can't.
You
want to hear
that?
I'm not the business of that. I'm talking about GameOverGreggy specifically.
Here's some bullshit, right? Is that one day GameOverGreggy might leave you, and that's okay. I'm not gonna do it for real. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna live and die to be Kind of Funny. But I'm just saying is like that's what we were building with Kind of Funny and what we've built in the way that. The fact that they're doing a Disney Blitz commercial. The fact that right now they're doing the Skype calls, right? That they're doing the rest of the Skype calls for Patreon. And everybody who's getting those Patreon messages don't feel screwed over that I'm not there.
Yeah.
Because we've built something. I want to get everyone over.
And I feel like this is the first time of the conversation where I'm like, I'm in there because like, if GameOverGreggy leaves me, it's time to leave. Not for me to leave. It's time for him to leave.
Right. Exactly.
You've always been the top dog. So it's like, if the top dog going, then it's like, I'm going to get... I'm not saying you're gonna bring me to the next thing. It's just like you've already given me the chance.
Yeah.
I don't need no other chance. You know what I mean? So it's like I only got one opportunity. Kevin,
I only got one shot.
Got it through you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like whoever it went through multiple people, but everybody was just as important throughout the whole thing. So 100%. It's like, regardless of where we go in the future, that's one thing.
I want Kind of Funny to be here in 40 years.
If I get hired on Wild and Out.
Oh wow!
Guarantee I'm going on Wild and Out
with Nick Cannon. Is that still?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. It's still big though. It's still big too. So
I was just making sure. I just don't know. Is he still with Mariah Carey?
No, they're done.
Okay,
Yeah, I
thank
don't
you,
know
thank
about
you.
that
They're
much.
done. Okay.
But he has it tatted though, right?
I don't know. I just said that.
He does have it tatted though. I know that.
Well, remember, Undertaker had Sarah, and he just went over that. You can
That's
do over
true.
that
That's
shit,
the
no
dead
problem.
man. He do whatever he wants. Like,
Exactly.
Nick Cannon,
That's true.
man.
That's true.
Nah, yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. Maybe we're just dragging it out, but like I'm happy with where everything's at, and
Dude,
I'm really
dude.
excited to see where everything's going, and to put it on the table and on footage
On the wax.
on the wax. That's all I've been saying. Because a record. You know
Oh,
what I'm
I got it.
saying?
I got it. You're pressing-
Some
you're
people
pressing
don't
it.
do this shit. I said the first time I realized like fuck, I need to stick with it because it's gonna see. I said my first interview. I said gonna, and then I said finna. And then I said gonna again.
Gonna,
and
gonna,
the
finna,
comments tore me up. Like, oh, he thought he was cool. He said finna. He name dropped finna. Like,
I don't know if you know this, but everybody in the YouTube comments is better than anybody in the YouTube video. So that's just how it plays.
100%.
That's a knock at the
Certainly-
trolls, not the normal people who are nice.
I've read the comments on my GOG show. Since then, never been
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Like, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. I was so clear and y'all don't get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just what I was saying. You want to jump into the questions, man?
Oh yeah, we so.
Unless you have something to say.
No, I
Yeah.
mean no. You keep saying that you think we're in a great place.
Yeah,
We're in an amazing place.
yeah.
This is 2017 has been so inspirational and so amazing, and having you guys here, aside from the family aspect, aside from walking in and be like you have your own culture, everyone at Kinda Funny is on the same page and making amazing content and making amazing shit. And I've been so blown away by the reaction of best friends who have tweeted, Facebook, Reddited, forumed of just like, it's been a rough year, obviously, but Kinda Funny is making the most amazing content they've ever made.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
And that goes so far, especially when people are like, it's the best of both worlds. Kinda Funny's making the best stuff they've ever made. Colin's making the best stuff he's ever made. This is the way it should be. And the fact that all of us are turning, all the wheels are going in the same direction, like 2018 is going to be insane. Like this year has been so insane. The things that you've brought to the table, that Joey's brought to the table, that Andy's brought to the table,
Yeah.
like I can't wait. And it's going in, you figure last year at the holiday party, right? And we're about to have our holiday party tomorrow. Last year's holiday party, it was that you were part-time. There was no plans to bring you full-time. We knew we were bringing Andy out full-time. And Joey was part-time community manager, and we had flown her up to be part of the thing. I don't think we had announced her yet, right? Didn't she take the...
No,
you
she
took...
hadn't. She took it in January.
Yeah, and so that was the thing of like, we didn't expect to hire you full-time. We didn't expect to hire Joey full-time. We didn't expect to have Andrea, Gary,
Yeah.
Danny, all these different people.
Didn't expect to get hired.
And that's been the story with Kinda Funny. When I do interviews and people are like, oh, well, where's Kinda Funny going to be in 6 months? I'm like, I don't know, man, but I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest part of like, none of this has made any sense or been on the timetable we thought it was going to be. So like, final message for this AMA of December is like, thank you all for the life you've given us. Like,
100%.
we are so happy to be here and so proud to make this content for you and so happy to hang out with you, the best friends. Let's see what they said. Because
Keeping
again,
me from boom ganging a whole lot of shit.
don't
man.
boot gang. So we have 10 questions. I didn't read any of them ahead
All right.
on Patreon. Because usually what happens if we never drove this home. Patreon AMAs every month over on patreon.com/kindafunny or patreon.com/kindafunnygames, but you're on the Kinda Funny channel. They go up there at $1 level. You ask your questions, then they get answered in this thing. This, since it was a special 1-year thing, we said, hey, ask them in really quick format so Cool Greg could ask all his questions.
See what's
I did
happening.
only expect this to be 40 minutes. So far, it's been 2 hours.
There we go, man. So we have from Joseph Wagged. Wagad. He says, Hey Greg. Jared Petty always asks, what is the best sandwich? Let's change it a bit. What is the best pizza? Toppings, sauces, everything. And I definitely want Greg. I want Kevin in on this one too.
Oh, the best pizza.
Let me go first because I know exactly what it is. Extra red sauce, bell peppers, onions, sausage, and pepperonis. I know it's a lot. I know it seems like a disaster. I love it. I'll eat
Onions
that shit
kind of
all
threw me
day.
off.
Oh, I love the onions.
I'm not an onion guy at all. No. The knee-jerk specialty pizza would be the buffalo chicken. I'm not saying that, though. That's an honorable mention. I feel the fact that not every pizza place has the buffalo chicken means that I don't
I
don't get it enough, so I can't say that. If I'm going to a new pizza place, I'm ordering something new, usually what I'm ordering I'm going to just do pepperoni and sausage. That's the supreme pizza topping of, hey, let's try a place out. When I get in there and I get frisky, I like to put, if I'm getting really nuts, like I'm at a place I go to a lot, stick with me. I'm going to put some broccoli on there.
Broccoli?
I'm going to put some sausage on there.
Oh, man.
If I'm going to Pasquale's over on Irving.
We just went last week.
I love it so much. I love their ham. I'm putting the ham on there. Maybe sausage and pepperoni if I'm getting crazy.
Amazing pasta.
Amazing pasta, really. I've never had their pasta.
I loved it.
Pasquale's is great, yeah. Andy was so impressed with it. Cool, Greg, what's your favorite pizza topping?
My favorite pizza topping, I mean, it's tough. I'm not as super opinionated as everybody on this. I definitely love pepperoni pizza. I mean, pepperoni pizza. But I think I like pesto with chicken.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
no, that's good.
Definitely
Okay.
fuck with that.
Yeah.
So that's me.
All right.
Joey, no?
She's gone. Next one.
Okay,
She likes
so
pineapple
Amy?
on pizza.
Oh, man.
She doesn't. It's a joke.
That's the joke, right? All right, for sure. I be forgetting because it's such a constant.
Joey. Actually, can I get like half a watermelon? We're only through one question of 10.
Let's do it.
It's
Let's
going to
do
take
it,
a
bro.
while.
Me too,
31
man.
minutes
Fuck
left
with
on
me.
this card. So
31 minutes, and I got to go
know what it is.
home to
Just
drink
choose
with
one.
my neighbor.
We're not
All
doing
right,
cigars
really?
tonight?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Well, Jen
In
and
the
I.
downstairs area?
No, across the hall.
You're going to their house?
No, they're coming to ours. We've been Jen and I. They got a wiener dog too. We've been trying to strike up a friendship, and Jen finally got the
girl?
courage. No, it's a guy. The wiener dog's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no.
Oh, it's lit.
And Jen's an asshole to Portillo, and she always is like, "You have no chance. She's so much better than you." I'm like,
He doesn't understand
I
English.
don't understand that at all.
Jen's putting him down.
Everything
But
I've
she does
seen
the same
from
thing to
Jen
me.
has been the opposite.
Jen says
of
that to me too every night. She's all right, bro. I love you, but you can't do better than me.
You're no Tim Gettys. All right, so we got Amy Gilroy.
Oh, Amy Gills.
You know her?
Oh my shillelagh.
Oh, I don't know her.
Oh, you know her from the
Amy
Twitch
I'm
chat.
just joking. I know her. I fuck with her. So we got, hi, lads. Love her. Quick fire question. You have to give up one thing for a year: wings or hot dogs. What do you choose?
Hot dogs.
Easy. Come on.
Done. Slam
You're
dunk.
2 hot dogs?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Talking to your
7
microphone.
That 7-Eleven. That 7-Eleven cheeseburger thing ain't doing enough for you?
I mean, I've had one
Thanks.
so far since I figured
One
it
this
out.
year. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like
Okay.
if I lived in Chicago and had Portillo's next to me, maybe we'd have a debate.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever gone a year without a wing. I've gone a year without a hot dog.
Oh my God, mind-blowing thing right here. Oh my God, everybody. I don't do New Year's resolutions. Here's what I'm making right now. In 2018, I'm going to count every chicken wing I eat.
That's fucking lit.
I don't think so. I don't
get
think you
it.
can do it.
That's happening.
Let's get it.
I don't eat them drunk that much. It'll be easy.
But you do eat them drunk.
So this is to, I'm throwing Kevin because this is a Kevin-asked question. So guys, what haven't you cooked that you would like to cook?
That's a great question, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What haven't I cooked that I'd like to cook? I don't bake. I don't make cakes. I don't do that kind of dessert thing because I'm not a big dessert person.
Baking's lame.
Baking is lame, says Kevin off mic.
They can hear me.
They can't hear Kevin.
And I'm super hard. Sorry guys. I'm gonna do better if I can piss right now. I've been trying to
Okay,
hold
yeah,
it.
Go. You don't
Go.
have
Yeah,
to
I'm
say
sorry,
go,
man.
go.
I'm gonna keep going.
Sure?
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
I mean, we're not gonna get far, of course. I just again have to go home and drink with the neighbor, even though I'm drunk. Oh, it's
What
already
happened to the
5:23.
cigars tonight?
Fuck.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm just
Text
saying-
Jen and ask if you can come over with the cigars.
No.
Fuck, that's a great. Can we do them tomorrow after dinner?
I mean, I guess. We're
Kev-
not gonna.
Kevin, can we have some fun, man?
I'm just saying, we're not gonna. You know, I know.
Lobster. I've never done a lobster.
You've never cooked lobster?
No.
I did recently something I've always wanted to do, which is the rack of lamb. And holy shit, was that like, it was as satisfying to make as I've always wanted
Okay.
it to be, and
All right.
delicious. So
Brandon Bowdish says, "What is something that cool? God fucking. Oh wait, no, that's okay. This counts. What is something that Cool Greg has done in his year, kind of funny, that surprised you?
Literally everything.
Wow. The thing I always talk about with Cool Greg is the fact that when we bring him on the morning show or any show and ask him a question and he says something, he gives a response that is so perfect for the moment that you would think that we have rehearsed it or scripted it or what, and that is never the case. Cool Greg comes out, mind clear, swings the bat, home run, and walks off.
it's so funny you say that because my response was, to be as cool as he's been.
Yeah.
Because it really is the like, because we brought him in and everyone was like, oh, he's so cool. Let's call him Cool Greg. And it was like, that sounds great. I can get behind that 100%. And then it was like every time we have someone come in that they talk to him, they're like, they'll turn around to me and be like, this guy's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it works. Jason says, how does Superman cope with hearing everyone in the world and only can save one person at a time? Well, of course, this is answered in Superman, Man of Steel, John Bryan, I believe. And I'm talking about when they first rebooted him after Crisis on Infinite Earth. I think, Superman of Steel. It's before like that was an ongoing series. Anyways, it's him in the chair. Again, when Clark's great. He's already moved out. But he's back, and I'm pretty sure he moved out. But anyways, he's back in he comes into his room through the window, his room in Smallville. And, but you don't know that. It's Jonathan and Martha downstairs, and they hear the clunk clunk up there, and like, what the fuck was that? Like, Clark's gone or whatever. And they come up there, and it's Clark in the chair that in his room that he grew up in, fucking grasping the arms, crying down his face. And they're like, son, what's wrong? And he's like, I can hear them, Paul. I can hear everyone and everything, blah, blah, blah. And basically it comes down to focus of, all right, let's Superman. This is the thing of like, there's a great, I believe it was Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, but it might have been Superman the Animated Series, but I think it was Justice League Unlimited, where Superman faces Darkseid in there for the first time. And he's like, I've had to hold back my entire life. That's the story of Superman. To exist in any day-to-day situation, Superman is always cognizant of his powers. He is always being very gentle and very careful and trying to stay out of it because he could kill all of us at any second. So it is that thing of focusing. There's a great Smallville episode on this. Is the same thing of when it happens and he hears too much and Jonathan, of course, Pa Kent, played by John Schneider, amazing performance, tells him to focus on my voice, Clark, focus on my voice. And he learns it that way. Also, the X-Ray Vision episode, great. You ever see this one, Joey?
I've seen them all.
I love it so much. My favorite part in that episode is like when Clark's got the power. He's like, I think it might be after super hearing. He's like, all right, let's learn. He's like, he reaches in his pocket. He's like, what do I have in my hand? And he's like, your pocket knife. And he opens it up. He's like, Clark, you just saw through my hand. And Clark goes, no, you just always have your pocket knife in that pocket. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's a great response. Cassidy Coyote says 2 quick questions for Greg. 1, coffee or tea? Coffee. Only tea if I'm sick. 2, what is consciousness? And can we ever experience anything objectively? Consciousness is whatever you deem it to be, whatever you see and whatever you exist in. Can you experience anything objectively? No, you cannot. Pick up with Matthew.
Sorry it took so long. It was completely Nick's fault. So,
Nick, you leaving? Yes. Before you go, I'd like a little bit of a back rub. Just a little bit. Not too much, just a little.
I want you to know that when my sick wife at home doesn't get her wings on time, because
Why didn't you invite me over for wing wings?
real quick, I was talking to my friends the other day, or last night actually, and Ruben, my man knows. You brought him on. You thought he was a fucking game exec.
So drunk. So drunk.
For the 200th episode. So,
It's amazing. I'd marry you right now.
But we have 25 minutes left on this.
Oh my God, get through the questions.
sorry. So, Matthew,
Go to your wife.
I love this. I'm just fucking about it. Sorry, it was good, but fuck it. Yeah. Sorry, are these still the questions?
Yeah, starting with Matthew there.
All right. Matthew says, yeah, I love this. Cool Greg had my attention the whole time.
He's just responding to the fact that we're like, hey, are you cool with this? Of like doing this. Don't worry. Go on.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Speed
dude.
around.
Sorry, I suck, dude. Angel
You're great. I love you.
Cruz, my man. All right, so he said, hey guys, just quit my job to make a podcast. I want to know when is a good time to start up a Patreon.
Now, right now, stop. Do the Patreon. Have it from episode 1.
And should I keep my eyes on Drip? The new Patreon-like platform from Kickstarter.
Start a Patreon right now.
I'm reading it the way it's written.
Kevin, learn about Drip.
I'm saying drip is an awful name for like a thing.
Joey, learn about Drip.
It
Somebody
seems-
know what Drip is.
It's like a leaky faucet that needs to be closed.
I thought like a penis that has like chlamydia or something.
That's awful.
There will be
That's
less
awful.
people on
I just
there.
go from my personal experience.
There will be less people on there. Sorry. Every time I click it moves. There will be less people on there, so it's easier for me to be found. But Patreon is super mainstream and everyone knows about it. What do you guys think?
Do both?
Yeah, do both for 100%. We should probably look into Drip, Joey. Are you here? Yeah.
Did you say, are you here? Yeah, she's here.
Can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you give Tim this? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, anyways, get them both. You have nothing to lose. We were just talking about this when we were reminiscing with somebody about kind of funny of when we started GameOverGreggy show, we used Bandcamp, of course, because that's all we had to charge for the show. And it was like we were debating of like, well, we could start the show and do it for free, or we could always have this option. And Tim was like, you have to always have the option. Otherwise, if you give something away for free, people aren't going to expect it for free.
Did we say that earlier today?
Yeah, and I think
when I heard that was something. I was like, holy shit, that's so fucking correct.
you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I would have never thought about
that. You can't window content next to that.
So true.
When we were like, hey, this is our business model. This is what we're doing. People understood it.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Patreon.com/kindafunny.
All right, so Angel Crew. Oh, wait. No, wait. Sorry, that was that one. So we got Johnny Davis. Best wrestling pay-per-view you've ever seen.
Wow. Pay-per-view.
Best wrestling pay-per-view you have ever seen.
Now, here's where the other question, can we ever be objective? The answer, of course, is no.
I don't know what that means.
I can't divorce myself from the situation.
Oh, yeah, okay,
so I'm going to go to Backlash.
That's what wrestling is, man. It's like music. You got it. That's part of it, man.
Backlash in shit.
That's mainly Backlash.
2002, 3, or 4, but it's very distinctly the one where Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow beats Triple H for the world title. 2002?
Definitely not 2004. It's definitely not 2003. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
2002 makes sense because it was
2003 is WrestleMania 19. So he wasn't champion going into WrestleMania or after WrestleMania.
Well, no.
Backlash is right after WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okay, so this makes sense.
So I say
stick with
2002.
me. Stick with me. So when was the 2002 was WrestleMania 17, where it was Rock Hogan?
2002 was 18.
Okay, so that was Rock Hogan, Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
This is perfect then. So yeah, after that he went back to being Hulk Hogan, red and yellow. And then Backlash was him versus Triple H for the world title.
So it'd be 2002?
2. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
It was in Kansas City, Missouri. We drove from Columbia, me, John, and Kyle Hayes to go see it. And I've don't get me wrong, August 9th, 1999, Chris Jericho's debut, best Monday Night Raw, best live event I've ever been to. I think WrestleMania 18, Rock Hogan, watching it, that's my favorite match of all time because it shows what professional wrestling is. Being in the audience, and we weren't super close, we were close enough, you know what I mean? Like we weren't like front row, but I think we were back and maybe like 2 rows up into the thing. I remember that match being so fucking insane and all of us screaming, everyone. This crowd was coming undone, and I'm rusty anymore on what it was, but it was like finisher for finisher that people kept going back. I should go watch this tonight. I might watch this tonight now that I'm drunk. But it was that I believe Triple H pedigreed him the second time and rolled him over. I'm like, that's it. And my friend John grabbed me and he goes, that's not it. It's for the title. It's a pay-per-view. And Hogan kicked out. And it was like you were already at 11 and everybody went to 15 in that fucking, because it was like, no, he's winning the belt tonight. You're about to see Hulk fucking Hogan win the world title in 2002.
Yeah, I guess.
And he fucking whipped him off the ropes. Hit him.
Getting at the dog against Triple H, the top dog.
Dude, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's fire. For me, there's only two that come to mind for sure. Sadly, Sasha aren't a part of either of them. But she's still probably on some of my favorite matches of all time. But still, I would say WrestleMania 20, hands down.
Yeah.
It's the best pay-per-view in my mind, like ever. Match for match. The only bad match it has is the Divas one and Sasha and Charlotte. None of the top people were around at that point.
Yeah, of course. That was really
Trish Stratus,
Divas.
Trish Stratus was the top diva, and she was a part of the Chris Jericho Christian feud. So she, you know what I'm talking about. So she wasn't even in the women's match at that point. So it's like they dropped. I think there was a Playboy Bunny match with Tori Wilson and Sable in them, and then there was also a Molly Holly versus I think it was Jacqueline for the hair. Like loser gets their hair shut, and that was the match that was in between Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle and the triple threat match. So you're like, this bullshit for some hair, but whatever. It's all lit. But either that. Or I would say my first one that was like changed my life was Survivor Series 2003, where Undertaker got buried alive. Came back at WrestleMania 20 to add to that. So it's one of those.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Those are good ones.
So then this is the last one, guys. So we got Nicole Humphrey. Hey, Greg. I, comma, like you, comma, am a proud. Oh, I like you.
like you.
I suck
hear.
at this shit, man. You know
She's
what
doing
I mean? I'm
correct-
kind of funny. I ain't go to college. You know what I'm saying? I ain't like the bullshit. So I said, I, like you, am a proud Slytherin. Are you a Slytherin?
No, I'm a Gryffindor.
Yeah, so I'm a Slytherin. So like, cool, Greg. So I, like you, cool, Greg, are a proud Slytherin. But have been told I seem more like a Hufflepuff. Not like you. I don't get that a lot. Given that you are such a nice, down-to-earth guy, I was hoping you could talk about why you were still a Slytherin. And then P.S. Apologies again for taking your hat at Kind of Funny Live. Once again, I find out how important wearing a hat is to you. I felt even worse. Much love, Nicole.
She's talking to you then, right?
It's all to you.
Oh,
This isn't
is she talking to
This
me?
isn't a Greg Miller question.
That's
All
super
this is all
fucking
you.
funny, dude. Can you get back to it? What did it say? I was reading it to you. I didn't even fucking read it.
All right, so let's try this.
Yeah,
again.
read it to me. Bro. Let's go
Nicole
again.
Humphrey says, "Hey, cool Greg.
Hell yeah.
I, like you, am a proud Slytherin, but have been told I seem more like a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Given that you are such a nice, down-to-earth guy, I was hoping you could talk about why you are still a Slytherin."
I love having a leader. I love feeling like I'm a part of something bigger than myself, and I love feeling like I'm adding to that. And I
Who's
feel
the
like-
Slytherin leader? Draco?
what do you mean? Well, I mean, as far as her being a Slytherin, I'm a Death Eater, so like you have to be a Slytherin, you know, to do that. So it's like I love having Voldemort as like a leader, even though Voldemort's not my leader. If I have to choose this fake reality I'm gonna live in, I'm gonna choose the one that has the leader. I like having a leader.
Okay, my apologies. That makes
That's
perfect
me.
sense. Perfect sense. P.S. Apologies again for taking your hat at Kind of Funny Live 3. Once I find out how important wearing a hat is to you, I felt even worse. Much love, Nicole.
I honestly don't remember you taking my hat at Kind of Funny Live 3, but off of you saying that, I'm sure I didn't react well. And I apologize if I disrespected you, if I said anything or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I've had girlfriends that, you know, they think it's cute to like slap your hat down and stuff. Like, that ain't cool. Like, don't touch my hat. I felt very disrespectful. It's too close to my face. It's one of those things. It's like playing with someone's braces almost. Like, it's just not something you should even think about doing. It's on my head. Like, I know it's not in my mouth. Don't do that. That's not even in the category. It's
When
not
we were
fun.
18 years old, we went to a strip club in the outskirts of Chicago, and one of the strippers took off my friend's hat and walked backstage and then came out without the hat. Or she disappeared, and then we tried to find the hat, and the hat never came back. The hat was gone. Bullshit.
It's bullshit. Sounds like fucking bullshit to me,
Does
too.
sound like bullshit.
All right, guys. So this has been your December AMA for Kind of Funny. I appreciate all the love, all the support. This has been an amazing year. I don't know about you. For me, it's been life-changing. I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate all of you guys at home. Greg, again, thank you so much.
Cool, Greg.
So
Thank you
much.
for everything. Couldn't
Yeah.
do this without you.
Appreciate that, man. To wrap it up, we'll see you next year. Let's get it.